still getting just a couple things situated, such as the hand cam. Here we go. Oh, let's get the light going too. That would help. Alrighty, let's think we can zoom out a little bit farther than that. And I actually have a plan today. You guys can see, anybody that's here, that I have a couple polishes out here. Why do I feel like we're a little bit crooked here? There we go. This is there. The mat itself is actually crooked. That's better. Okay, so let's oh, I see things that are too small for me to read. Where's my other window? Hello, other window, please. Dr. Crotron. Yes. The dead frog nails. Oh, and why aren't you muted? Be muted, please. Mute. Okay. Sorry, probably heard me and me. Let's well, at least I can see that the chat widget is in fact working, which is always something that needs to be checked. Whether or not I always remember is, of course, another story altogether. So yeah, I mean, we do kind of have some dead frog colors here, but we have like a blue also. The blue may or may not be in there. I thought it might just be like a complimentary like pop of color. That sounds like such a generic term, but you know, I think I might actually leave my dashboard over here because I've gotten used to looking at it over here when I'm Hollow Knighting. And then we can maybe move this over here where it is already actually harder to see, but I mean, how much do I really need to see this stuff anyway? It's working. That's the important part. I think I got my stuff properly updated. Can you see my tags and stuff, Dr. Crotron? It's my very first time using tags. And my request for nail art and or nail polish tag apparently has not gone through yet. So, okay, let us do a tweet and a Discord and all those things. And while I'm doing that, I'll think about where my nail polish sketchbook has ended up, which is perhaps something I should have thought about before stream. But I had a couple extra, I mean small things, but just a couple extra things to take care of. Actually, let's... Autumn's classier than fall, right? Yeah, paint makeup tutorial. Like, looking at the list of tags, there's so many for so many, like, granular things, and yet there's no nail polish. Hi, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Okay, the tweet is done. Let's do the Discord. You know, like there's digital art, there's traditional art, there's auditory ASMR, there's visual ASMR, and there's even makeup and skincare, but there's no nail polish and nail art. I feel marginalized, Twitch. We'll see. I have no idea. I'm sure everybody and their mama is submitting tag suggestions now, and it's because they left out. Okay, let me finish announcing things before I start ranting. But it's kind of frustrating. It's like you make this big old change and then you're really stupid about it. Oh, I forgot. Discord doesn't like the URL in that format. Let me get the whole entire URL. So the Discord likes me. Yes, send it to everybody. Hi Sunburnt. Thank you for joining us. I was just about to go. I got my Discord, I got my tweet. X Creations with the 2-month resub. Thank you so much. Wait a minute, I just noticed. Sorry, messing with things. My alert, I might have to make the text a little bit smaller or something. I think the emotes were cut off in the on-screen thingy. So anyway, they have this huge list of new tags, and it's a long list, and there's like some very odd to me things on there, but they missed Metroidvania, which I mean is a huge genre of video games. That'd be like forgetting fighting games practically. And they apparently missed bingo, which it seems like a lot of games have a bingo nowadays, so I don't know how they missed that. Like I said, there wasn't anything for nail polish or nail art. I'm just relegated in with the regular makeup, which, I mean, it's not like I hate that idea or anything, but I think when most people think about makeup, they think about, you know, from here up. They're not thinking about, I mean, they don't call it, you know, fingernail makeup. It's a different sort of a thing. A blindfolded tag? Well, I guess so. I mean, people do blindfolded runs, but yeah, I mean, like, so if you have blindfolded, how do you not have bingo? How do you not have Metroidvania? So I'm positive that you know, all kinds of people are submitting tags. This feels like the white balance is maybe a little bit off. Where's my yeah, let's get a little bit closer, like about like that, and let's nudge up the white balance to about, that's better. Oh, I should have left that open. I'm sorry. Okay. There we go. And we'll just stick this over here. So, I had this idea. I don't remember exactly what prompted the idea. Maybe it was just like last week's Manicure and kind of like the whole textured theme or look. And I had, these were actually some of the backup colors that I had pulled out. Was this for last week or a couple weeks ago? Anyway, they were out, and I started thinking about different things that I could do with them. And I think actually I want to do a couple little small swatches right in my notebook. Here we have last week's stuff, of course. We're going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to do some little swatches in my notebook, and I'll go over the colors when I do that. What is today, like the 30th? The 29th. 9/29. Okay, so these are sort of in order. The middle ones are all green, and then I've got kind of this like sparkly khaki, and then like that bright blue too is like accents. Musical, hello. So these are all Zoya's. So of course they have people names. This is Brighton, and the sparkle's actually hollow. Of course, the lovely ring light is doing its thing and making it hard to see what it actually is, but that is actually a hollow. Let's do a little swatchy swatch. And I mean, it's very neutral, but the hollow, that's way too much polish, Colette. I get lazy, like when I just do a little swatch like this, like I don't want to do 2 coats. I want to do 1 thick coat, and then it just ends up like being kind of blobby. Be back after your shower. All right, enjoy your shower, Musical. And excuse me, you guys. I'm realizing that I sound a little bit hoarse. I do have my tea. And I do have my water also. And I'm trying to remember to keep the tea out of Beanie's cam area here. Actually, you know, I'm reminding myself here because he wasn't on his chair a little while ago. After I do these swatches, I maybe should take a short, well, I won't go anywhere, but a short break to do his medicine. I'm not mad at you, Sunburnt. Sometimes I just get lazy too, and I'm like, you know what? Caps don't matter. This is like, these are all very like murky greens, and I feel like they're very fall, autumn inspired. Dr. Crotron thinks they're Dead Frog inspired. I can see that too. So this is Arbor, and this is like the lightest color, and it's a cream. Well, light, relatively speaking. It's a cream. Then we've got Scout, which is like got a shimmer to it. The shimmer is almost gold, and it's a very yellow green. Actually, I guess maybe this one's a little bit lighter, but it's got that shimmer to it. It's a very pretty ugly color, if that makes sense. Then we've got Gal, which is leaning more like to the metallic side. I think these are almost all actually like different finishes, which kind of makes it interesting too. So you see, this is got a lot more, almost like a very fine glitter to it. I mean, I would consider both of these shimmers, but they're very different shimmers. Jerry, hello. Thank you for joining us. X with the work and lurk. Enjoy your lurk, X. Yeah, olive green, army green, murky green, dead frog green, all the greens. And we've got like, just happen to have like a great color story in chat, like to match my inspiration with all these different greens, and then Dr. Crotron in there with the gray. This is Tabitha. This is the darkest green, and a little bit hard to capture on camera, but I think you can see it's got just a tiny hint of a silver shimmer in it. Really nice dark green. That, I mean, any of these two would make a really nice fall manicure on their own. And then we've got, and like I said, I'm not sure if this will actually make it in there. I just thought for like a pop of a different color, this is River. And this is another one that's very like metallic and shimmery. Okay. Now, because I forgot to do it before I started, and because he's showed his face here, I'm gonna just take a very short break and give Beanie his medicine. My bean gray. I should have. Like I said, my friend was questioning these too. She was like, well, that one's too sparkly to go in there. I don't know about that blue. And I was like, look, these are the colors that I had out. I'm gonna play with them. And if I like what I see, I'm gonna go with it. And if I don't like what I see, I'll figure something out or get some different colors out. But hopefully I like what I see. Alrighty here. You ready for your medicine, Mr. Bean? Can I give you your medicine? Yawn. Yeah, you're such a sleepy boy. Come here. Settle. And he's such a good boy. I mean, he knows what's going on, going down. Luke, hello. He knows what medicine is. He sees what I'm doing here. And he just settles down in my lap. And then we just put a little bit of medicine in that eyeball. Blink it in there. There you go. Blink, blink. Blink, blink, Benny. And the ointment's kind of weird. I try to just make sure that it actually, like, gets deposited around in there and he doesn't, like, blink so hard that it all just, like, out of his eye. And then, because he's such a good boy and took his medicine, good boys get yummy, yummy treats. The yummiest of treats. Temptations mix up. I don't know if other cats would love these as much as Bean does. But they are his, well, I don't know if I should say they're his favorite treat. He likes them, so I never, like, experimented with a bunch of other treats. Let's see here. Is your face dirty? There you go. Good boy. Alright, that's done. That did not make it in the garbage, and it's okay. I'll get it after stream. Now hopefully he'll just settle down and hang out with us. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. That medicine's making your eye all better, isn't it? His eye is really just about fully healed. For anybody that doesn't know, he had like a scratch on his eyeball. Buffering like crazy because you're downloading a game. Ooh, downloading a game. Getting ready for Stashoween. So yeah, his eyeball is healing like really, really well. Everything looks great. But I decided I'm gonna finish off Little Tube, which doesn't have very much left in it. I mean, it's mostly gone. But the last time he had eye injury, it looked like it was done, and I stopped the eye drops, and then it like completely flared back up again. So I just want to make sure. What? Oh, it's this. Make sure to let it heal as well as possible. We need to. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with that right now. Yes. Is it okay, Luke? I wanted to ask and I forgot to ask right away, but you have noticed the lighting is different. And like if I was gaming, it would be different too because I wouldn't have the ring light on. The 3 lamps that I used to use for my tutorials, I thought I would get rid of when I what's Victoria? Hello. Thank you so much for the bits. There's my thingy. Bean is so shiny. That is, I'm not sure why he's so shiny other than he is getting a little bit of the ring light glow. The 3 lamps that I used to use like down toward my desk for my tutorials, I thought I would get rid of when I got the ring light because it replaces that. But when I started live streaming, I was like, even with like my overhead lights on, I felt like I needed more light. So what I did was I took the goosenecks of them and pointed them up at the ceiling. Ceiling is white. We get like the extra more reflected light, and one of my lamps broke. So part of it may be that there used to be more light like going off this way, which is where Bean is, and kind of diffusing what hit him from the ring light, but yeah, with the blinding highlight. Plus we have no sun coming in. My window is open, but it's a dreary ass day. So when the sunlight is coming in, that adds, yet another lighting source, another difference to deal with. So if you guys think it's okay, I may not replace the light that's broke, is basically that is broken. I do know good English. If you guys think it's okay, I may not replace it because, I mean, it's not expensive, but it is kind of like, all these like gooseneck lamps attached to the hutch of my desk. It's like to get rid of one of them would be kind of nice. So, yeah, let me know. Hello, Lunar Eclipse. Thank you for joining us. Finally bought a light and a gel top coat. Cool. I hope it works out for you, Victoria. I would say the main thing I have a problem with when I do gel is I always do the coats too thick. Because I'm used to like slathering on that Seche Vite. Keep the coats real thin. You will feel the heat of it if you do not. And keep it off your skin. Like, do your cleanup before you cure. Or try really hard to keep it off your skin. Anyway, Strim ruined. So Dr. Crotron appears to think I need more lighting. Or he was referring to something else, but it does. I don't think it looks too bad. I feel like I'm a little bit. Can we? There. That's a little bit better. Can you settle yourself down, Mr. Bain? Okay, so these colors with some texture. I should have maybe sorted these out a little bit before stream. The texture is going to come from the sponge. But instead of like last week, where we were trying to achieve texture simply by like, the texture of the sponge, and the application of the polish and the polish itself. Hold on here. Yeah, this might come in handy. This week, we are getting the texture. All lighting is required. It does look fine. Okay. I mean, it might vary too. Like, in a couple months, well, We'll see tomorrow, I guess. I have been streaming in the dark. What am I thinking? I was thinking like all my streams had like light coming in through the window, but of course not. Last week we streamed until fucking 2:30 in the morning. Hi, Barbie. So yeah, last week we were going just with, you know, the actual texture of the polish, the actual texture of the sponge, and with that application trying to kind of work it out. This week we're going to actually be working with some like ripped off sponge chunks. So we've created even more texture than the sponge had by just ripping it off. And I literally like just was like pull, and you get like a, you know, a rough, looks like a little Cookie Monster bite edge. And sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes, you know, you can try to control it a little more, or like get it started a little bit and then kind of like. And I wasn't super thrilled with how this type of sponge was ripping, but this one, which was already the more porous sponge, you could see I got some really interesting rough edges to it, and I have a couple more pieces. So like when you rip it, it's a little bit different. I think you could even hear it if I was not talking over it. And you get a lot more just crannies and nooks and crevices and stuff. So the other little thing I grabbed out was my this thing looks like a torture device on camera. This is for grabbing like cotton balls when your nails are done and you don't want to get cotton on your fresh manicure. But you can also grab a little piece of sponge with it, and then you don't have to grab onto a tiny piece. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I don't feel like it grips a very secure grip. Maybe if I had like a bigger piece of sponge and crammed it in there. Like if I took this whole thing and like that's a pretty sturdy grip. We'll play with that a little bit. I have it out. That's the beginning. So that's generally where we're going today. And I don't know how that's going to work out. I've never tried doing texture this way with this kind of a sponge. So I think to start out, we'll get ourselves a couple little workplace swatches here. I don't even know what to call them. This is, oh, I've got hair all over here. That is kind of a weird color. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna want to. And maybe I should not have these up here. I should have these over here, so that I'm not blocking the camera every time I reach for a bottle. Okay, learning, professional streamer, all these things. So let's do a couple spots of this, and I might actually have to do 2 coats of it because it's applying rather sheer. And if I do too thick of a coat, then it's just not even gonna dry very quickly. And then we'll maybe do like 1 or 2 of these. See, now look at how nice and creamy and opaque that is. I mean, you can, if you really just get a little bit, you can kind of get some patchy spots. But that's got like a really nice formula. And I think also we'll do a couple with the darkest green. And then after we play with these a little bit, we'll see what we think. And adjust our next tests. If next tests, it's kind of a tongue twister, are actually are necessary. Maybe we'll be able to get away without doing any more. I do not have an inspiration today, Luke. Well, I mean, I kind of do, but it's not like a particular picture or a particular post like last week. Which, I mean, that was so fun because it worked. Like when you're trying to match your inspiration and it doesn't work, of course, it's much less fun. But yeah, just kind of the idea of texture and like, and I actually haven't seen any, but lately, like I wanted to go see Parade of Homes and I didn't get to go see it, where you get to go like look in all the like brand new houses and oogle and awe, like look at the chandelier in the bathroom, which I think is ridiculous. Anyway, so like and actually, I don't know that it is technically like in fashion right now, but like when you see walls that have like sponged textured applied on them, kind of that idea, except with more layers of colors and more layers of sponging. Sometimes retail therapy is the only solution, sunburnt. I've been looking at the China Glaze Halloween collection myself because I like it. I'm like, do I really need any of these? Are any of these like actually unique colors? And the answer is pretty much no. But I really like them, and they're subtle variations. None of them are exactly the same as anything that I have, except for possibly the matte black. Excuse me. Oh no, duplicate. Well, that means you really like them, at least, sunburnt. Yeah, I can see how that would be difficult, Anne. I mean, I sometimes it depends. I love gradient. You know, I wonder if that might work a little bit better if you try it maybe with the fan brush. If that, of course, fan brushes, I don't want to say by definition, but kind of are gonna turn out streaky, and that's definitely not a look that you're usually going for with eyeshadow. So maybe that wouldn't be appropriate for trying to recreate that. Let me get a little bit of polish remover out. I don't know what for yet, but I might need it. Always better to be prepared. I've been moving stuff around, so I'm like, a couple things aren't where they usually are when I just go to like reach for them. Yes, sunburnt. That's on my list of things to try, and I'm just kind of chatting with you guys because I'd like these to be a little bit drier before I get to sponging on them. Although I suppose I could just do like some little testy sponges. Oh, and these more porous sponges that I was lamenting just last week not being able to find anymore. I ordered some hair for online because I'm gonna do some crochet braids for my trip, and they had some sponges on the website, and I was kind of looking at the picture. I was like, they look like what I want, and so I was like, well, they're pretty cheap. Let me just order some, and they were. Like, that's a freaking simple little pleasure, like finding the appropriate kind of sponge. Thank you, Luke. So like back to the pigments thing that Sunburnt mentioned, to my understanding, you can buff them in kind of almost like a chrome pigment. I'm not sure if a no wipe top coat would be best, or maybe if something that left like a little bit of a tacky layer, like a regular gel top coat, or like the yellow stopper would be more appropriate. Sorry, I feel like I have something in my eye. Or attached to my eyelashes that shouldn't be attached there. Okay, that's better. So you can, like actually eyeshadow with a sponge tip eyeshadow applicator, do some kind of similar buffing. I would love to try that because I have a lot of really, really awesome eyeshadow that, I mean, I don't wear very much makeup anymore. I still like have the urge to buy eyeshadow and stuff, and then I like never ever use it. Like when I bought that vintage vault, was it last year or so, for the nail polish in it. I mean, that came with a lot of really awesome Urban Decay eyeshadows that would make probably awesome manicures. So, a couple of these still look kind of wet. How wet are you? Yeah, wet-ish. This one's almost dry though. I can see that. Okay. We'll work with that. And I've got quite a bit of sponge. It's like all the little slices from last week that didn't quite work out I have over here just kind of out to try. So I kind of want the other ones to... Now I have to think about this because I probably am going to want to be like re-ripping the sponge or using newly ripped pieces rather than try to get away with using the same sponge for each color. Gotta get that magnifying glass sunburnt. My mom was talking about that at the church sale yesterday. Or was it after the church sale? They were trying to read a label on something, her and her sister. And she was talking about missing her magnifying glass at home because we were at my grandma's house. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Barbie. The what is it? The fade to black, shades of black. I mean, it's I've been referring to it as the Halloween collection because I mean, it's that time of year. Maybe it's fade to black. Yeah, man, this guy, I just ripped another sponge. That's a really nice texture that I got out of that one. It's so hard to show like the texture of a white sponge on camera, but I'm trying to give you guys that kind of just to see like oh that was really dumb. Right in the polish. Well, I guess this is what I put out that polish remover for earlier. Clean this up before I I don't know, manage to get it on my forehead or something. I can see myself doing that, like put my hand in polish and then like hit my forehead out of idiocy and then like get a polish on my head. So small the Walmart scanner can't read them. Yeah, I think so, Anne. Because that's basically what the yellow stopper is. Do I have that here? Or is this supposed to be a top coat? You know, it doesn't really say. I've seen it referred to as both. But like the yellow stopper, I don't even know which the front is on this. It's pretty hard to read. I'll use that to create a sticky base for stuff like decals. And I tried to use it with nail foils once with mixed results. So I think that probably would work for eyeshadow. In fact, maybe shit, why not? We're here for experiments, right? Let's just put some of this out and let it get sticky. And we'll see how good we can get some eyeshadows to stick to it. This will just be our little test area here. And I'll go grab an eyeshadow and we'll see if we can get it to do something. What kind of eyeshadow should I get? Ash and burn. I want I don't know. I want them all. I keep seeing swatches on Instagram and stuff. Oh, did they release the games list, Jerry? Is it any percent or is it 106 or 112? They are, but that doesn't mean they're not going to fall sunburn. It just means they'd have landed on their feet. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to go over here and actually the vault is over here. Let's pull this out. Since I was just talking about how pretty the eyeshadows are. And I'm just assuming you guys can still hear me because the microphone is awesome. Let's do this one and this one. Come on. And this one. And this one. And then okay, we've got those and I think my yeah, here we go. Got some eyeshadow applicators in here. Whoa. In with all the pigments and etc. Alright, so What did I pull here? Kind of a similar colors. What is this? Acid Rain. Mildew. Actually, that goes great with those greens. Smog. And Chains. So 100% NMG. That, I mean, that's still a pretty long run, even without the additional 6%. Isn't it, Dr. Crotron? Oh, visuals. Oh, true ending NMG. Okay. That's, you know, I'm not even quite clear exactly what that is. I mean, I know you don't have to have absolutely everything that you get in 106, and I don't think it's actually even necessarily 100%. You just got to get enough to get the stuff that you need to get to go fight Radiance. Okay, so are we sticky here? Well, let's see. It doesn't feel overly sticky to me, but then it never does. And it doesn't stay completely sticky. Like, the more it dries, the less sticky it gets. Let's open up our little... Is this dry now? No. Okay. Let's pull this down. And then I can put this right here. Okay, then you can see. So I'm going to get just a little bit. Like that much. Leave buff on there. Kinda. I mean, it's kind of going on. It's not super intense, but that's the lightest one. Let's try the next darkest one. Awesome nails done quick. So can we like kind of blend them together here? Kind of, but not really. That one's at least darker. I'm gonna put all 4 of them on here, and then I'm gonna see what they look like with top coat. Like, I feel like right now they just look kind of dirty. Of course, I didn't pick like the most shimmering, beautiful colors. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's so just cold and dreary here. Like, my head has officially gone into fall mode. The high today. Now brace yourself, Jerry. Don't like fall over out of shock. High today here is 49. It's not awesome. Oh, I actually like that. Gosh, I actually got quite a bit of pigment on here too. Like, that actually looks like very shiny and metallic. Now, part of this, of course, remember, we're working on a piece of paper, so it's not smooth. I could have done like a coat of polish first before doing all that, and that would have helped get a little bit of a smoother texture. I would assume it's kind of like you know, a mirror pigment, in which the more buffing the better. And it is fairly stuck on there to the yellow stopper. I mean, I see a tiny bit of residue on my finger. Well, that one had a little bit more. Actually, I saw it on the paper. So you'd want to probably like make sure you didn't have too much residue on there, either with a brush or a fan brush or your finger, or just like blowing it off. And then Odyssey Darker Side, that's a long run. And well, I don't know. Maybe people are super good now that the frog skip is gone. Mario RPG, that's cool. Which is ending E? Jerry, do you remember? Unlurk for Musical. Welcome back. I can keep that. Okay, you can't freeze to death when it's only 49 degrees out, Cherry. That's not frozen. 72. Beautiful. 82 degrees. Yeah. Well, 2 weeks ago, it was 90. Like literally 2 weeks ago. And I mean, this is the coldest day we've had so far, and I don't think it's going to stay like this. But yeah, there's Minnesota for you. So let's just... I would say my verdict on this is, whoa, it's doing weird things with the top coat. Can you guys see that? You see how the textures changed compared to the area I did in top coat? My verdict on this is that I'm not super impressed, but I am intrigued. I'd be intrigued how it would show up with like some brighter, less dirty dead frog colors. The one Ninja kept begging you to do that you never did. Is it the one where you kill everybody in the village? I remember that one. I was like, oh sure, just kill everybody. Jerry will be the first person to freeze to death at 40 degrees. We are Snoopy. Hello. Yeah, my weather here in lovely Minnesota, the high today is 49 degrees. Let me look, because you guys are like, oh my god, Minnesota is true. It's snowy there 9 months out of the year. Let me just look and see, and I might just have to eat my words, but let me see what the rest of the week has in store, because now I'm curious. I don't think it's going to stay this bad. And I'm still kind of interested. I wonder if it's because it's sèche vite that the texture changed a little bit as it's trying to quickly dry. If that's the case, it might be something that does better with a gel top coat. Yeah, I don't know, because these aren't like eyeshadow pigments. They're just eyeshadow. Okay, so the rest of my week looks like... Come on here, Weather Channel. Scroll. Okay, yeah, it'll be 60 again by Tuesday, and it'll be 74 on Wednesday. So, I mean, we're not done with nice weather. Of course, then after that, it gets all rainy and dumb. But I would say it's not impossible for us to get like 80s in October occasionally. I mean, not like steadily. But, okay, so these ones that we were waiting for down here are now dry. So our little detour accomplished that, if nothing else. And, yeah, like I said, I'm not super impressed with this particular application, but I'm intrigued enough that I would like to play with those some more sometime. I kind of wonder how they would act, like I said, over a no-wipe top coat. Like the actual nail pigments that I've used before. With the 100% humidity. So that's what would get me. I can't stand... Magical! I can't stand the humidity. Yeah, well, there's that too. Like, if you're up and about and walking around or running, I'm sure the runners think this is like the shit weather. Whoa, we've got a tipped over bottle here that was thankfully not spilling. That's no good. Okay. Jerry, you saw my pictures. It's very nice here in the summer. I love our summers. My friend who was living in California for a couple years, she's very displeased with this shit. I'm in North Minneapolis, Barbie. 74 and rainy. 74 is about just where rain starts to feel cold if you end up getting caught in the rain. And you want to change when you come... Well, you always probably want to change when you come back inside. Okay, we're going to get started here. I'm just gonna... No, I think I do want a little... What do we have? We have these left over from last week. That's fine. Ooh. Let's get this a little closer up here. And I'm going to start with... I've kind of got them in the order that I swatched them. So we're going to start with the cream. And I could maybe paint this directly on the sponge, but kind of like last week, I want to have a little bit more control over it, so I am going with just a little spot and then like dabbing some up with the sponge. And then like dabbing it on here. And I kind of want, not a lot, I don't want to drown out the base color, but I want enough that as it's covered up by the other colors that I'll be sponging with, you can still definitely see it. The one thing I'm noticing right off is that I feel like with this particular piece of sponge, because it's cut with the straight edges, that I am seeing some of the straight edges in the sponging that I'm doing. Which I don't know if that's good or bad. It wasn't planned. And I just don't feel like getting nail polish on my finger, so I'm going to try and pull this off with a tweezer. Yeah, that worked. And go into our next color, which is the slightly yellower one with, well, a little bit more shimmer. The dark one on the end, I'm undecided if I want to go in the same order or if I want to go in a different order. I kind of feel like I want to maybe go in the reverse order. So maybe this should be the base, this yellowy one, because it's kind of on the sheer side. I don't feel, well, let's try it over the cream though. Yeah, especially, yeah, marathon runners, which, speaking of, is Luke still here? Luke, how did your race go today? You had a race, right? A not as long race? Oh, you got a hurricane coming, Lunar. Whew. Yeah. Be safe. Jerry could tell you about that. You got to take him seriously. You got to be safe. Yeah, see, even over this, like, you can see it, but you're not going to get this truly yellowy, greeny, mercury color, I don't think, unless I use that as the actual base. No. Well, we'll finish this bout of testing. Or actually, maybe I should make a couple spots so that they can start drying for me. Maybe once I get started on the green. Sorry, I'm dropping pieces of sponge all over the place. Wait, what was I just... Your whole bedroom was sponge walls with leaves coming down from the ceiling like a jungle. Sweet. Jerry, it is not cold when SGDQ is here. Oh, that's so frustrating, Sunburnt. Which one was it that was claiming hollow and was not? Nice. Congrats, Luke. 5K in under 30 minutes. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people like running or do running because it's a good thing to do. And, like, I think about it and there's just, like, so many parts of my body that are like, fuck that. Peanut butter would have been awesome. And is something of a meme, Sunburnt. You know, when people get a PB, sometimes you'll see lots of people in the chat talking about peanut butter that fully well know it is not actually peanut butter. Okay. We've got this kind of more metallic-y one. And this one is also on the sheer side, but I feel like it may show up better than the other because it's got these more sparkles. Oh, it's just kind of adding a sparkliness. Not even much. And I don't know why I made 2 spots for each one of these and then I'm doing the same thing on each spot. Just to see consistency, I guess, in the technique. This is like just adding sparkle. At least over that color combination. Which is not exactly what I wanted. Let's see how we got here. I like that better. I feel like it's pretty-ish, but it's not really what I was going for. As far as really seeing that spongy texture. Let's see how it pops up against the dark green, though. See, maybe I'm using either too much polish or too heavy of a touch, because that's kind of blobbish. Yeah, see, like with that, I really want it more. Let's do a freshly ripped piece of sponge here. See if I can get kind of some more cragginess. And maybe put a little bit less polish down also. So if I use like this, yeah, like more like that. Kinda more like that. Let's, whoa, I'm gonna move my palette over there. Let me get these over here so they can start drying. And I might have to do 2 coats. And then I can do the darker green on these other ones, and then do the other colors back on the darker green. And catch up on chat. Pretzels for Oktoberfest. Oh, for Oktoberfest. I'm like, Not in this galaxy. I feel like that name is familiar to me. I can't quite remember where I think I've seen other people complain about it, is probably the case. Running sucks and you hate it, but it's been a good challenge and keeps you off your butt. I mean, those are positives at least. I just feel like, I don't know. I have so much trouble with my knees and my hips. I feel like a leg would pop off if I tried to run farther than a block or 2. No, I'm not super enthused about it. Sunburn. I'm not displeased with it yet. We've got some more stuff to try here. Luke. Wow. Oh, PB is for when you're in the lead. PB is for when you're in the lead. Yeah. It's frustrating though, because it's like, it makes you wonder if the companies are being manipulative and trying to call it hollow, or if they're really that fucking dumb. Like, do you think this is hollow? Do you think when people are asking you for hollow that this is what they're asking for? Because no. Okay, we'll get some, and we're not quite in camera here. That's okay. A little bit of green, and then get this spongy sponge action going here. I think part of the problem is I'm frequently getting a little bit too much polish on my sponge. See, like, this is actually, like, kind of turning out how I was thinking, but not quite exactly. Like, I want more texture, and I don't know if I need to, like, actually be more forceful of how I'm ripping, or just, like, change how to, like, I have to be careful, because, like, it's very easy for the side, the edge, to end up like a little bit like longer, and then you get like that straight edge look, which is not what I was going for. See, like that? I feel like that actually needs even like more of the dark. Okay, a little bit more. And then I was gonna do the other colors again back on. See, what did I put on here? Just the shimmery one. So let's add some of the yellowy one on the dark. And then the yellowy one might be dry and we can play with that a little bit. Now this is a good rip because it's kind of round. So I'm not going to have that problem with the edges necessarily sticking out, but I am going to have the other side straight edges to kind of worry about. Again though, this color is too sheer to show up over the darker colors. Well, like it is adding some texture and some depth, but like not really the kind of texture and depth that I wanted. I'm going to use the other side of this kind of the sponge where it's still kind of clean to do the last color on here. See, and that one actually does show up decently well over the dark. That does not need to be the top color though, I don't think. It's too boring. Okay, so I think with these yellowery swatches, yellow-er-y. No, Sunburn's gonna get a promotion with her excellent puns. Then Luke's gonna ask for his cut. Hi, Caters. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so with these yellowery these ones. I can't talk, you guys. I'm sorry. Oh my god, my stomach literally just growled so loud the microphone might have picked it up. What I've learned in these, we don't want the cream one on the top. I don't think we want the shimmery one on the top either. Oh, I forgot to test any blue on these. Okay, let's go back and add a little bit of blue after I finish explaining. So what I'm going to do on these, I'm going to do the shimmery one first. Then I'm going to do the cream. Then I'm going to do the darkest one. And let's rip a couple more things here and see if this blue is going to be part of the party or not. I'm not super attached to any of these. So, oh, actually I forgot about the shimmery one. That one might be cut. It's too sheer to use for anything but a base color. See, this kind of does what I wanted it to, which was add just a couple little bright highlights in there. So you don't want too much. You want like the lightest possible touch. You don't want to like smoosh it so hard that the sponge does sponge things. You just want to like touch it so that the highest peaks of the ripped portion deposit their color. If that makes sense. You guys have to, I mean, a lot of times I know when I'm not making sense and I'll apologize, but if I'm like actually not making sense and you guys like don't understand what I'm saying, please let me know. Like, questions are always fine. I'm actually really liking, and I've got some glare here. I'll tilt it up so you guys can see a little better once I do the darker one, but I actually kind of feeling the blue even more than I anticipated. Yeah. Huh. Oh, it's still not showing very well. I think it kind of can I? freaking glare in the white balance. I swear. I kind of like the blue though. It's hard to get you guys a good angle, but I think you can kind of tell. So this is not far from what I had in mind, actually. I just wonder how it'll translate onto nails. I really want to get a... Oh my God, did you guys hear my stomach? I'm so sorry if you did. Let me just drink a whole bunch of water. Maybe that will temporarily solve this problem. Kind of like a sponge painted wall Snoopy, but more... Of course, I don't know, there probably are sponge walls out there that have various different layers and depths of colors. I'm going to let these dry just a little bit longer. No pressure. Yes. 2 hairs and some air. But we're not using hairs. We're using sponges. Let me, I think, too... We'll put those up. You know, I never even tried this sponge. The other sponge. Because I was thinking it was not... We're going to try this other sponge this time, you guys. We're going to do one with one kind of sponge. And we're going to get a new sponge. And I just hit the microphone. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Well, I'm not actually going anywhere. I don't know why I always say that. Because all nail polish supplies should be kept in arm's reach at all times. Okay. You like the blue too? Are you lying to me, Sunburn? Oh, you love it. I'm glad, Snoopy. Okay, so we have regular-ish kind of sponge. These sponges are actually, you know what? I don't love these sponges. I have, and I always say in my tutorials, you can use whatever kind of sponge you want. Everybody's going to have a different preference. I kind of don't like those. And these are exact freaking same. Ooh. I thought I had... Okay. We've got these. And then we've got these. Are these the same? I'm sorry. Not organized. It made you giggle. Well, let's hear it for excellent microphones, I guess. Okay, that's an Ulta sponge. This is a Target sponge. Oh, you guys cannot see those sponge. And I also have a little round sponge. I wonder... No, we'll consider that. I'm sorry, Bean. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your chair is like a table, buddy. Yeah, you handsome boy. Oh, this handsome boy. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Little distracted by Mr. Bean. These are, and this one's just kind of slightly discolored because it's a little bit older. I'm kind of surprised. I thought these were the same. Oops. But when I squoosh them, in fact, I think you can even, I think you can even see. The Target sponge squooshes more than the Ulta sponge. The Ulta sponge is denser. When I look at them, like right next to each other, the sponge... Is there a word for the sponge? Like the pattern of the sponge seems very similar as far as like the density of the holes and stuff. But the squishiness tells me that the Ulta sponge is actually denser. We'll leave this Target one out. And then we've got these other ones, which are the other weird, much much airier sponge, and you can kind of see at the edge down here compared to like the edge of the Ulta sponge. It's kind of the easiest way to show you guys. See how this one has kind of like slightly airier edge and this one is slightly more solid. So where do I want to start here? I want to use a bigger, like the pieces I was using before were like the ones that I had cut off from the strips. So they're like these little tiny skinny strips, and those straight edges on the sides were kind of getting to me in some cases. So I think I want to start, let's just rip this fat end off of the Ulta sponge. And I'm just like trying to get a grip and just, can you hear it? Okay, so that got us this. We've got this little more piece here. Let's rip that off. Okay. Then we've got this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rip off the fat end. So we have a big fat area. And it even sounds different. That actually didn't rip off the whole end. But hopefully, let's get this started again. If you guys can hear the difference. Ooh, we got some really good, interesting peaks and valleys on that one. Okay. So, yeah, Ulta versus Target. Who will win? Probably Target, because I go to Target more often. The Target one isn't even in this test. So, sorry. Let's rip it, though, and see. Maybe it should be in this test. If I can rip it, God. Okay. I see you, Target. Target sponges are strong. Like, you guys, I'm not joking. This is way harder than the other sponge for some reason. Okay, we got it started. Listen. That was kind of ridiculous, though. And once it's ripped, there. We kind of have got... It actually ripped kind of very similarly to the Ulta sponge. Once you get into the inside of it, it is more obvious that the Ulta sponge is a little bit denser. Ulta, Target. But once I kind of broke the edge, I feel like the peaks and valleys that they made, I feel like are very similar depth of each other and like that. Like, I don't think that the density is super going to matter. What's really going to matter is, like, what we got going on here with this stuff. And this just has a lot more... I don't know what's wrong with my stomach, you guys. Okay, I don't feel like I'm starving. But let me just find something to put inside my stomach. This is too bad. Oh, okay. Short, quick snack break. Hi, everyone. Got the ASMR sponge ripping. Now we got the ASMR holy cheesy crunching. Hopefully that's less annoying than my stomach gurgling. I think that's the best one too, Sunburnt. I could also... No, okay, this is... Well... So, let's also, for the sake of comparison, get out my artist's sponge from Michaels. I'm sorry, is it too much stuff on your chair, Beanie? Well, so these are already the spongiest of the sponges. And this is a wedge cut off of a larger round. The original round is like this big. It's just cut off like a... And these are what I originally started with when I was doing like sponged gradients. Panera French bread with butter and wine. Man, that sounds actually pretty good. These are what I started out with before I started using makeup sponges. I just thought for some reason this would be the appropriate sponge, but I found eventually it's kind of like the denser the sponge is, the less, I don't know if I want to say the less spongy, the less holy, the smoother the final gradient can be, because the holes do add texture even as you're doing like gradients. So let's see how this rips. Whoa, kind of crisply. Let's do another one so you guys can hear. Like it kind of crackles off. And it actually, I'm kind of surprised that we don't get some more interesting peaks and valleys here. Because you see it kind of rips off almost. Let's try this again. Let's do another leg. And if you see, starting from the inside is a little bit easier. It reminds me like silly putty. You know how silly putty will stretch and then it gives kind of like a pretty clean break. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of interesting nooks and crannies going on in there. It's more like a smooth break. I don't think we're going to use any of that. So between Target sponge and Ulta sponge, I think we're going to go with the Ulta sponge for our testing purposes and our whatever, the spongier sponge. I need to come up with another name for this because I mean, I did get this one from Target, but like I said, they don't come from Target anymore. And I don't know what the brand is of the new ones that I bought from Sam's Beauty. We couldn't get through a menu without snacks. Yeah, I hope it keeps my stomach a little more quiet. Are these... Okay, we can move this down a little bit. And get these in frame. Excuse me. Where do we have... I guess right there. Actually, you know... Let's... Whoops. Okay. It's okay. Nothing spilled yet. There. Then we'll put this over here. Like this. Okay. So, what did we decide? Shimmer, cream, dark green, I think we decided. It's weird because on a normal day sunburn, I don't eat this early. Like I'm on a weird late schedule. And on a normal day, I just don't usually... I might have a snack around like 4 or 5. And then dinner around like 7 or 8. But like I don't usually eat lunch, which is really actually more like breakfast. So, I don't know. Streaming just makes me hungry. Alright, so we've got the that's the Ulta sponge. And like part of it too is like waiting for the polish to like absorb a little bit. Let's actually even see, like right there we're getting like a somewhat dispersed but kind of solid look. I need to make sure not to make it too thick on the lid either. And again with like the lightest of touches. See, this one I feel like it's doing like a thin coat of polish. It's not doing interesting textural things. Okay. Other sponge. Airier sponge. And there's so many good spots here. I think we'll just start with kind of this area here. And see how that's like, well, I used less of a spot also, but it's creating kind of more. This color is so sheer, it's hard to get enough that it's interesting without getting too much that you get a solid coat. I think I was able to make it more patchy with the second sponge though. Alright, I'm going to just rip off this used portion. And same with the other sponge. To try and keep things rough but clean. Same thing with this one. I don't know. It's weird, like the tweezers tend to pull it off in chunks. Like that. Like instead of really ripping it. I don't want to get polish all over my fingers, but ripping it kind of does seem to be the best way. Wait, here we go. That's a little better. I mean, especially once I get to doing my nails, that's the other thing I try to keep in mind when I'm testing. Like when I'm testing, sure, it might be fine to be trying to like grab these sponges and rip pieces off. But if my nails were done, I wouldn't want to be like grabbing into the sponge, you know, because it would smudge the manicure. So that's also, the other sponge is definitely easier to do with the tweezers, I think. The airier sponge. A lot of caffeine and sugar. I get up pretty late. I would say usually around like 10 o'clock or so. I usually go to bed between like 2 and 4 in the morning. Alright, let's get some of this olive color here. And, okay, Ulta sponge. And again, like, trying to use a light, there, like, more like that. Oh, off camera. Like this first one was kind of too much, but like these lighter touches like that. And trying not to get too much of that sharp edge. Now with the other sponge. And sometimes, I mean, 10 o'clock is not a time I get up. I mean, 11. I try not to get up later than noon because I love to sleep and I could definitely lay in bed all day, but I really try not to. If for no other reason than there's streams to be watched. And I hate it when I wake up and then I'm like, oh, I missed some good stuff because I was sleeping. There. Oops. And I think I'm going to, like on this one, it's kind of just the corner. I'm just going to leave it and then I'm going to be using this side. Same on this one. I've got a good enough area that I don't think I need to rip it off. And we'll just add some of the darkest green. I feel like I wish the darker green were a little darker when I was sponging it. Let's see how this one fares. And I'm really trying to, like, instead of press, I'm almost trying to, like, bounce the sponge to, I don't even know if that's quite exactly the right word, but to really, like I said, use the peaks to form the pattern and not get too heavy-handed. A little bit more of the darker green. Oops, that was a little bit much. And that's like the balance in this particular manicure is like getting enough without getting too much. Actually use this little area here. This one I think I'll rip the corner off again. I'm liking the way these are looking. I want to add a little bit of the blue and see how that goes. I'm definitely leaning toward the airier sponge rather than the Ulta sponge. Although I do feel like just working with ripping off chunks with the tweezer, kind of almost by default, is creating more interesting nooks and crannies than just ripping it with my fingers. Which is interesting and good to know also, because I mean, not everybody has a drawer full of 5 different kinds of sponges. So, you know, if you have a kind that doesn't want to rip ragged, you may just need to experiment with ways that you can force it to rip ragged. It's like just a tiny bit of blue in there. I love watching Bob Ross, like in the evenings. A couple times lately I've woken up and I've been like rated or hosted into a Bob Ross stream. It's like, oh, just a little bit of blue in here. And then we'll make a decision, I think, and then we'll maybe do a manicure. Well, not manicure. Well, we'll do a manicure unless the decision is that we need to do a little bit more testing. Whoa. The blue is so hard to capture properly. There. Fighting with the white balance. And I think, too, I mean, the whole point is to make it textured, but some of the texture is making it hard to see. Let me throw a little bit of top coat on here. Like this one. And this one. So, does that sponged painting stuff actually have like a name for the technique, or is it just sponging? Yeah, I think this is what's going on my nails, you guys. So we've eliminated what was this? Brighten from the lineup. So many sponges. I'm sorry, Beanie. There. That's kind of out of the way. We've eliminated Brighten, but we're going to go with the 4 greens and the 1 blue. Yeah, I'm debating how I want to do that. If I want to stick with, of course, like I said before, I don't have to be quite as stingy with these. I have more now. I probably should take a potty break before I start my nails. That's, even if you think you don't have to go, that's always a good way to begin before doing your nails. So I could grab them from downstairs when I go do that. So you got up early so you could get your shit done before I got started. Early is 10:30. Yeah, weekday time is actually early. It is kind of a textured smoosh mani. Or like a, I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Sometimes names are really obvious to me, and sometimes they're not. The one thing I'm debating is like with this, the shimmer color, which I applied first, I feel like is not coming through a lot. Do I just want to be more aggressive with sponging that? Excuse me, or do I want to... Okay, actually, maybe we better test that. Shit, I just closed all these. I'm thinking, do I want to sponge it more heavily, or do I want to switch the order of that and the cream? Which I think that's just what I'm gonna do. So it'll be, this is the base, then do the cream first instead of the shimmer, and then do the shimmer. Whoa. and then do the dark green and the blue. Sorry, I really ran into you guys there. Maybe. I feel like Brighten it's super watery is the problem with Brighten. Like, well, not watery, but it's very sheer. No, plus it's, well, I'm so indecisive. I feel like I could experiment for another hour just switching different colors and different layers. But I feel like this one is very close. Oh, where are we? Oops. God. This one is very close to what was in my head. Like, it looks so dark and murky on the paper. It's not quite that dark. That's a little bit of an improvement. Like, the more white I can cover up, the more true to color it is. And the blue really stands out. You blame me and Dr. Crotron. I will take that blame, Jerry. I don't know. Blood and Guts marble. In fact, that actually brings up something that I meant to mention. If anybody has any like requests or suggestions for Halloween, I'm open to them. I'm not saying I'm going to do everything, but I don't have a bunch of stuff planned. I'm definitely going to be doing a Nightmare King Grimm manicure, but beyond that, I only have a couple of ideas. Okay, I'm changing my mind right now. I need to do a couple more tests. I need to do a couple more tests because I just feel like I should. Whoa, sorry. Okay, let's do 2 spots of this and a spot of the dark green. And we will check and see how Brighten shows up over a darker color. If I pre-rip the sponges, though, I probably could do pretty small pieces, and then it'll be handy to have this sucker out. Ooh, where are we? We're much higher than I thought. We should be... There we go. And then a dark green. In fact, we can experiment with that right now. Let's just... do a couple like this. Like this. And some of these too, like if you bend them a little bit, you can even get different little, like if it's not that much of a, but then you like grab it and bend it like outward, like, sorry, that's a horrible angle, but like, you know, you can kind of spread them out a little bit or make them a little bit different as you grab them. So let's add another coat here. And there. And to the dark one. And then while these are drying, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick potty break. And I'm going to grab the other sponges. And then I'll come back. We'll do these last couple tests. And then we will do the actual manicure. Blood spatter with the straw. I did blood spatter probably not last year. Probably not the year before. With the what's it called? We spray in the water. not watercolor, water spotting. Okay, it's 3:40. I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes. I'm not sure if I'll use all 10. And you know what you guys get to listen to while I'm gone? Can you guess? I think I did Dripping Blood at least one year too. Where are you, media player? Oh, right here. And all right, we've got a repeat on in case that's needed. We're gonna turn this on. And the veil technique for spiderweb. I did consider that. I also considered trying to hand paint spiderwebs again, which I've tried a few times and I'm never satisfied with my results, but we'll see. I'll be right back. I won't be too long. We have returned. And, Mr. Bean's all covered in puppy spit. Okay. I have, in fact... Oops. No, I didn't mean it. There. Go away. Let's see. Make it back in time. Yes, hello, Amethyst. We have just like 3 more little tests we're gonna do, and then we're gonna do... That is kind of ironic. Maybe I should use one of the other ones. That's the most iconic one, though, although... I did used to use a different song. I forget the exact name of it, but I bet a lot of you would recognize that if I played that one. Yeah. Should we brush out this puppy spit? Huh? Can I brush it off of you? He gets them in the back of the neck. Yeah, hi. Can we get you? Get all this puppy spit out? And then it dries and his fur like is all spiked up. But he likes it. He puts himself in position to get assailed with puppy love. Yeah, so much puppy love, huh? Yeah, do you love that, brother? Brother Clark said, yeah, I wish he would not spit on me quite so much. Make my fur all spiky. Yeah. Alright. Enough of that for you, Beanie. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do a very good job. You fix it, Beanie. Yeah, I wish I could. Let's see, is it right? Is it in the same folder? Would I recognize it if I saw it? And some of these sound familiar because there are some that I really like for like polish and motion videos. And there's one in particular that I was using for the speed tutorial compilations. And what are you doing, computer? It's like working really hard. My externals are working too. I don't know what they're doing. Okay, sidetracked enough. Let us he is really handsome, and these are really in your way. I'll move these for you, Bean. Make sure you have plenty of room there. Okay, so I did the new sponges that I got that should be just like the old sponges that I couldn't find anymore. So well, this is a ripped piece, but you can see they're very, well, you can see a little bit, and you can trust me, they're very similar textures. The same as far as I can tell. And these, the other ones were from Target. These are Swispers Pro Quality. Now that's interesting, because I think the Target other ones also said professional, and the regular ones don't. So what the professional ones are these textures. So it's like these. If you ever see these around, these are also the the mid-density sponges. I mean, that sounds like such a mouthful to describe them. But yeah, let's make sure these rip as I'm expecting. Pretty much. I could get a little bit more texture, actually. If I rip slower, do I get more texture? Slowly ripping. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. The slow rip. Look at all that texture. Okay, so let's just get a couple lined up over here. A couple little pieces. And I'm also going to use this as an opportunity to test with the the grabber and see how that feels to work with. Or if I want to cut pieces that are big enough for me to actually like physically grab in my fingers. Which wouldn't necessarily have to be a huge piece, but you know, a bigger piece than what would be needed for the grabber. Okay. Some days are like that, Amethyst. I 100% feel you on that one. So this is pretty full. I should have gotten a fresh lid while I was downstairs. Let's see. Yeah. You'll recognize some of these blue streaks from several weeks ago. And let's actually move the camera to be where we want it to be. No, let's actually, okay, like that. And then we'll turn this like this. And let's mess around a little bit with the darker green one first and see how Brighton shows up over that. See if Brighton has a chance of being re-included in this manicure. So now, like when you grab it, see this one kind of bent, and we got like a crick in it. You don't want to grab it that hard. You want to maintain like a good shape. So you want more like that. Being careful when you grab it, and that kind of, I mean, do I want to be messing around with that when I'm trying to do a tutorial? That's kind of a point in favor of cutting grabbable sized pieces. It's barely showing up on camera at all. It is showing up. The holographic particles I feel like are showing up the most. But it's still really very sheer. And as I can try to like do like a slightly heavier sponge, but then it just starts getting kind of dispersed looking. Okay, so what did I want to try? I think I'm still going to skip Brighton. Brighton can keep Beanie company over here. Do you like Brighton, Beanie? Yeah. Goes good with your gray fur boy. So I want to try the shimmery one. No. The cream on the bottom, and then the shimmery one, and then the dark one. Yes. Maybe also. Okay. I think I know what I'm doing. We'll just start going here and see. So, let's try the cream. Yes. Kind of a sponge painting thingy sort of a thing. Like using like a really light touch and trying to get really textured rips on the sponge. Like that. Like that. That's what I want. And that's, again, kind of back with the... Actually, having an awkward grip on the small piece of sponge, I think is actually helping me to have a lighter touch and get a little bit more of this spongy, speckly texture. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Then we'll do some shimmer. And I mean too, like when you have a piece like this that's got ripped sides on multiple sides, just like look at it and see like where the good cratery parts are. This color is almost the most tricky because, partly too because as it absorbs in the sponge a little bit, the glitters are left on the sponge surface. This is looking good. I almost even could let, okay, I'm just going to go crazy with it. Okay, that's obviously too much. Not that much. You can still see the other color underneath, but it's gotten kind of muddied. I was for a minute just like, just go overboard with it, but no. I should be slightly more restrained with it than that. But you can see here, like how much that absorbs into the sponge, like the actual color. And there's really not very many glitters left on the sponge. So what you're getting on the, well, it'll be on the nail, is a lot of glitter and not very much color compared to like this one. Like it's absorbed, but it's still, like there was still a goodly amount of the polish on the surface that dabbed off. Well, there was no glitter in that one to dab off, but. And I'm going to use another side of this to do the dark green. Oops, we're there. Oops. Try not to get too much polish on my hands. And just see, now this is the one where I feel like the dark green in particular needs some drastic like crags to get a good texture going. And I'm gonna do, oops, this one also. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so, but now what is exactly my plan with that? I guess try a little bit of the cream on top of that and then a little bit of shimmer, or a little bit of shimmer and then a little bit of cream. Probably going to go with this order, though, with a little bit of blue on top. Let's do the shimmer and then the cream. Where did my shimmer sponge go? Right here. So a little bit of shimmer. More. Always need more of the shimmer than I think I do. Whoop. And then a little bit of the cream. Actually, that doesn't look bad. If I'd done the green, the darker green, a little bit heavier in the base for this one, like there's not very much of the dark green showing through. But I don't dislike the way this one is coming out. But I feel like I would just want to put more dark green on top of it, and then, well, why even bother with the first layer? You know. Let's try just a bit of blue, just for that little extra sparkly kick. And we're going to stick some blue on this one too, I think. See, that one, it turns out almost into a totally different look. Like Brighton almost looks silver when it's sponged. Okay. Yeah, this one. With or without the blue is still kind of the question. I kind of want to do with the blue, because it adds just, especially when I kind of move it around in the light, I think you can see on these ones that have top coat on the top half, how the blue kind of just pops out as a little bit of sparkle. Well, there's the gold sparkle too. Well, the moss green sparkle. Okay, let's clean off this lid. This lid? Do I have a clean lid? Hold on. And then I'll read chat too, because I was ignoring chat. Let's clean this lid off. This should only take a minute. Where's excuse me, orange stick. Alright, so we've got, what was this little piles of clear polish on here for, I wonder? So, like, as far as cleaning lids go, most of the nail polish is going to break off into little, like this. So you can kind of just peel them up like you would a decal. Well, harder, or, you know, or more or less hard depending on how old it is. Sometimes they get really dry and then they get flaky, more like this. Which is why, boys and girls, you shouldn't wait so many weeks to clean off your lids. Okay, let's dump this over here. And then we'll just go with a Q-tip and get the rest of this off of here. All these little particles. The flakiness is sometimes very frustrating, and sometimes that is not just how long it's been since it's been cleaned, but the type of polish. Neons are more likely to dry really brittle and kind of crusty like that, where they turn into little flaky bits. A couple other colors and textures. It is kind of Bob Rossy. I mean, he doesn't use sponges, but I mean, the way that he'll create trees and stuff with the brush bristles is a lot of the same kind of idea as far as a simple way to create texture. I would love to do a more Bob Ross inspired nail sometime, like actually try and do maybe a little tiny scene or something with some little tiny trees with the Bob Ross technique. Or take one of his little classes, like Dr. Crotron's wife did last night. I'm so jealous, Dr. Crotron, if you're still here, of your wife's Bob Ross experience. And we got to see the painting. It was really cool. You vote yes to blue. Yeah, happy little cabins, happy little trees. Everything's happy in your universe. You can make it that way. Because it's your world. Whatever you create, it'll be a happy, happy world. What? Oh, I see. Sorry, got distracted by my dirty tweezers, which I'm putting away. So let's close these before we spill them. Let's move all of our sponge detritus to the side. We're gonna need sèche vite. We're gonna need ready for takeoff. We're gonna scoot all these. I'll probably put them in a bag or something for the next time I want to mess around with this kind of, like, they're fine for testing, but like for the actual manicure, I think I want something better. Yes, and now I know who Bill Alexander is. And anybody that doesn't know who Bill Alexander is can go check out the videos channel in Discord back a couple weeks. Alright, I'm just gonna make a couple sponge pieces. And I'm going slow, because going slow does seem to create more peaks and valleys, instead of just like ripping it and getting the clean, like I said, the clean silly putty rip almost. So I'm just trying to like pull it slowly. Bill Alexander was just a little bit ahead of his time. Well, of course, apparently so is Bob Ross. I don't know if Bob Ross was like as popular in his actual day as he is nowadays. Alright, couple more. I mean, I want to make sure to have plenty when I get to actually doing the tutorial, because it's like nail polish mise en place. Mise en place, mise en place. I know the term, I don't know the correct pronunciation, even though I'm positive I should. But, you know, you want to get your supplies ready ahead of time. I think that probably applies with most things. You know, art, cooking, don't know, exercise, yard work. It's kind of satisfying. Are we focused here? Watching it come apart too. It's kind of hard to see on camera. Not as can't see it as well as I wish you could. As I knock over a bottle of polish. Luckily, it was a bottle that I had already closed. That's why you didn't hear a, oh shit! Alright, let's this should be good. We've got a lot of choices here. A lot of good choices. Okay, we've got a relatively clean lid. Not super clean. Like I said, it's almost impossible to get them freaking fully clean again once you start using them. And let's just get a little bit more polish remover out here. I almost definitely will have some cleanup. I'm not gonna mess around with Simply Peel. So unless I'm like very, very careful with the sponging, which could impact like the design of dang it. If I'm too careful with sponging, then we're gonna lose the randomness. So I'm gonna try and just go at it, and if I get some on my skin, then I'll just clean up if I need to. Yeah. I hope, I mean, you know, there's always like, you know, when famous people that you love come out and they're like actually assholes, and that's always kind of sad. I hope Bob Ross was as cool as he seemed. Yeah, I know Lunar Eclipse. I follow a couple people on Instagram that's just like, holy crap. And I'm trying to remember who it was. I kind of want to say that it was Koya Rose, but I'm not 100% sure. That did like a Bob Ross style, like trees and bushes manicure just very recently. Sunburnt. Aw, I'm like my heart. Those are all good people. And Steve Irwin's kid, like, man, he like is his dad. Like, he looks practically just like him, and he's sitting here, you know, doing the animal thing, the conservation thing. And it's just like, I mean, like, obviously, of course, that, you know, people tend to take after their parents in some cases or look like their parents or whatever, but it's like almost to the point of being like eerie. It's such a similarity, I think. All right, you guys. Let's get my nails clean here. Yes, I'm off camera. I'm sorry. It's just easier this way. You guys know what's going on. For anybody that doesn't know what's going on, I am cleaning each nail off with a Q-tip with a swipe of polish remover. I did have some issues just yesterday where I had to do a little repair on my index nail. It's been giving me such problems. And I've got a small patch trying to stave off a little tiny crack on my right index nail also. But other than that, my nails are looking in really healthy condition right now. Gonna really have to try and get on my moisturization game since we're coming into fall and winter here. So this one right here with the shiny tip, that's the one with the fresh patch on it. And I almost just cut it off. It was the weak point where I mentioned before that I'd flexed it and it didn't break, but it left a line, like it started cracking right there. And I would have just cut it off, except I was like, that would be really, really short right now. And it's Halloween, and like Halloween is not a time that I want to have short nails, because Halloween is like such a great holiday for nail art. So what the heck here? I've got like I think I have some clear polish residue on my nails. I thought I took it all off, but apparently I did a half-ass job of removal, so this is taking just a smidge longer than usual. But I'm almost done. Yeah, I agree, Amethyst. She is. Oh, are they going to have a new show? Hello, by the way, Crystal Pistol. I bet that's why I like literally honestly have not been watching TV for the past several weeks, if not months. But I caught a little bit at my grandma's house yesterday. Was that when I saw that? It must have been. Or else it was something maybe on like Instagram or Twitter or something. I usually do manage to stay up on current events without watching any TV or any news. But I saw that he was going to be on The Tonight Show. Well, I'm glad you decided to join in the chat. But if you feel like lurking, that's all right too, Crystal. I always love the lurkers because I am absolutely a lurker. Most streams, I mean, if I feel like I, quote unquote, know the streamer, or if I know it's a streamer that keeps up with their chat and, it's not like a ridiculously huge, giant, busy stream, I'll usually at least say hello because I feel like that's, not just polite, but like, I don't know. I like saying hello to the streamer, and I like it when they say hello back too. That gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. But a lot of times then I won't say anything more, like the whole time I'm watching the stream until the stream is done. And then it's like, give them a thank you for the stream. Okay. Yeah, that's true sometimes too. I ask my mom sometimes. She was watching this nature show and she was just like flipping out. She was like, "Oh no, they're about to get eaten." And I'm like, "Mom, why are you watching this show?" She's like so sensitive. And yeah, so I can relate, because like even the happy ones sometimes, like, it's nature and it's cruel. Yeah, when I would have TV on just like as the background, because like if I'm working on the computer all day or whatever, music would also work, but sometimes music is almost too distracting, because then you're like, ooh, what do I want to put on my playlist, or what do I want to listen to next? To have the TV on in the background is just kind of like background noise. I would usually either have like animal show, a cooking show, or like a HGTV type of a show. Or Hoarders. You guys know I love my Hoarders. So that type of stuff I like is just background. But now I usually have Twitch on in the background. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed his stream too. I know Dr. Crotron is usually quite tickled when my nail polish people show up to see his Hollow Knight streams, now that I've gotten a lot of you guys hooked on the Hollow Knight. So let's do some base coat here. Must hit it with the fan brush because it's all 3 colors. Little hollow right here on the bottle. That was such a pretty manicure. I gotta try that fan brush gradient again sometime soon. Uh-oh. Okay. I was just gonna say, for a minute I almost forgot the order that I decided that I was doing these in. But now I remember. That's what the polish sketchbook is for. It's handy. If I really get stuck, I'd make myself little notes. And sometimes I do. Or even like if I'm trying to do something random, but I want my hands to match, or for it to be kind of balanced, I'll like make notes of where I want the randomness to occur, if that makes sense. Just a little bit more residue on here, I just noticed. I had just a clear on my nails since I didn't do a midweek stream, which I apologize for, you guys. I'm not bullshitting when I'm saying I'm trying to get organized so I could add some more streams. But I actually have made some progress. I forget if I mentioned before. I forget even actually which day I did it, but I've got all my Helmers here next to my desk now. I got the last 2 put together. So now I just need to dig more into the organizational part, and soon we will be swatching. Soon. Hmm. Cartoons are good too. I do love some cartoons. Yes, Horde, especially like the beginning of this year. Uh, what was it? There were like 2 episodes on every day, and one day where it was like all day long Hoarders Marathon, and I would put that shit on and I would get to organizing. And I look around now and I'm like, what the hell was I organizing? Because I still got an awful lot of shit to do. Like maybe I need to turn on some more Hoarders. Yeah, I love to do that also, Sunburn. Just, it's something to have on, and it's something to pop in when you want to or when you can. And I think you'll find that 99% of streamers understand that. That's why I'm always like, you know, just because somebody popped in and said hi, I don't assume that they're sitting like focused on my stream for, well, what have we already been going for? 2.5 hours, or for the next hour, or whatever else it takes. I never make that assumption that all somebody's doing is sitting in front of their computer or in front of their phone or tablet watching my stream, because I know that's not how I watch streams. Or I also don't assume that somebody's in front of the keyboard just because they're watching, because a lot of times I'll be moving around or I'll be doing other stuff, and like sometimes I'll even cast it to my TV as I'm doing other things, and I'm nowhere near the keyboard, so I might be fully watching the stream but not really fully engaged with the stream. Or sometimes if I'm on my computer, if I'm on like a different tab, I might be more listening to a stream than watching a stream. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, DVR is super handy for stuff like that, because then you can just, or like on demand type of a shows, I don't, I decided that's one of the things I don't like about TV. It's like it comes to whatever certain time that the show is on, and it's like, well, I'm not in the mood for that show, or I'm not ready to watch that show right now, or I have something else that I'm doing. So I like to, in fact, that reminds me, that's a wonderful thing to remember. I got a South Park episode I need to go on demand from last week. Anybody that's a South Park fan, the new season started last week. I have heard. I have not seen yet. Mm. That's a really good habit to get him into also, Anne, because I think everybody's had that experience of like going through cleaning that you should have done a long time ago and finding something and being surprised you still have it. So to get them in the habit of going through stuff on a regular basis and getting rid of stuff, I think that's awesome. And especially to donate, there are people that need that stuff. Oh, I don't know if the mic caught that. That was my back. Rescue bots. Okay. Base coat. Tutorial things. Let's, there we go. And let's nudge you guys just a little bit. In fact, let's get you guys in a little bit closer, since we're moving on to the actual manicure. There. I think that's good for you guys. Maybe. There. Okay. Okay, dokie. Come on, camera. Starting with clean, dry nails, I'm going to begin with a base coat. Today I'm using Ready for Takeoff, which is a peel-off base, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. And I'm just noticing too, I kind of had almost forgotten about it, those bullseye stains that I got from those rhinestones are nearly fully grown out. They're all the way out to right at the free edge. Well, I guess that's not all the way grown out. They still have to grow through the whole free edge, but I mean, they've grown out a considerable amount in the past couple weeks. Like sometimes because I do, like generally do maintenance filing to keep my nails at a similar length, or just to even things out, or whatever. I don't always realize like how fast my nails actually grow unless I get something like that, like a stain or a break where I can monitor the progress from week to week. All right, we've got our base coat done. Well, half done. And maybe by next week's stream, we'll actually have a nail polish tag to use. So, like for anybody that doesn't know or didn't know or hasn't heard, Twitch made several changes just a couple days ago. And the changes had been announced since July or August, I want to say. And basically, like when you stream, there are different things you set up or whatever. Your title, your game, and previously your community. And like my game, quote unquote, used to be creative. And they split creative up into like 9 different smaller categories. So now I'm beauty and body painting, which I guess is fine. But people got kind of irritated because as far as showing up in like filtered results, instead of having one category that has like maybe several thousand viewers, you're diluting this into multiple categories that now only maybe have a couple hundred viewers. And so instead of showing up toward the top with their couple thousand, now they're scattered all throughout with their couple hundred. Communities used to be kind of, I don't even quite know how to describe them, like groups or just themes, and they replaced that with tags. But the tags that they have offered are very limited. So, oh, that's right, she did win Dancing with the Stars. The thing I was displeased is there's like all kind of stuff. Like, I mean, there's makeup and there's skincare, even as like a subdivision of that, but there was no nail polish or nail art. So I submitted those as suggestions for tags to be added, but I don't know how long that review process takes, or like even if I'll be notified. Like if they decide no, do I get a notification? They better decide yes. I mean, honestly, if you can have 2 different tags for ASMR between visual and audio, you can give me a freaking nail polish tag. Yeah, well, like, even if you look at, like, so the beauty has, like, an icon or whatever, there's, like, makeup brushes and all this shit. Where's the freaking nail care icon? Like, and I also am cognizant of the fact, I realize that there are not a lot of people streaming this on Twitch, but I'm not the only one. A lot of times I would forget to check stuff in my community, but I did one time find somebody streaming in my all things nail polish community, and I was super psyched. And I went and hung out, and from time to time, searching like nail polish and nail art, I've seen other channels pop up, so I know I'm not the only one doing it. But I feel like that was a huge oversight on their part, because like they should be looking to grow the platform and to attract different types of artists. And if nail artists don't even see that they have a tag, in some cases that might turn people off. And plus the other thing that I'm like slightly worried about is that everybody kind of expects the body painting game category to devolve into sexually borderline explicit streams of people body painting half naked. Like, there are a lot of hugely talented body painters out there, but I'm sure there are also going to be some people that are like, well, let me put on this tube top and I'll just stroke a brush gently over my skin every 5 to 10 minutes. Well, whatever. But then again, on the other hand, if that gets super popular, maybe I can, the whole category will be raised up, even if it's by some stuff that's not really body painting. I don't know. It's only been a couple days. I'm trying to give it a fair chance. But I don't think there were very many people in creative that were like, oh man, creative needs to be updated or changed. I mean, there was some drama. The other thing that got switched is the IRL category, which some creative people stream to. And, you know, I don't know. It's like Twitch drama. Like, the social media sites are weird because, like, they each have their own little weird dramas. You know, there's YouTube drama, there's Twitch drama. Naked Vegas. I know there was what is that other one called? Sci-Fi Channel has one for like effects makeup, like monsters and stuff. And then they did a spin-off of that, which was body painting, and I don't remember what that was called. Both those shows were also cool. Both those shows would also be on my TV as far as having background TV stuff on when that was a thing. But yeah, so there's a lot of changes, and I don't know. I don't get a ton of my viewers through those methods anyway. Most of you guys, I think, and feel free to pipe up, like how you found me, but I think most of you are probably followed me from YouTube. A couple of you guys I know have come from hosts that I've received or something like that, but if you found me through like just through Twitch search or through like the creative category, I'd be interested to know that. Or if there's anybody new that's, you know, found me under this new beauty body paint category, that'd be interesting. Yes. Face Off is the one with the monsters. It was really cool too. I mean, some of them would look kind of janky, but some of them really were like, man, that could be in a movie. Yes, all my YouTube peeps. My YouTube peeps who have become my Twitch peeps. And are still my YouTube peeps too. I love it when I see you guys that I know have been in the live stream commenting on like the finished tutorial. I really picture it putting a smile on my face because it absolutely does. An extra large smile. All comments make me smile. But it's kind of extra special because I know that you guys know what else went on beside what's included in the edited tutorial. Okay, well, let's see here. Okay. The colors that I'm using for this manicure are all from Zoya. My base color is going to be Scout. Then I'll be sponging on top of that with Arbor, Gal, Tabitha, and just for a pop of a different color, River. So we've got kind of a murky green story going on with just that pop of blue. But as I mentioned, first I'm going to get my base color done. And I'll probably have to do 2 coats of this, I'm assuming. Oh, it's such a weird color. Like, this is not probably usually a color that I would ever wear as a plain manicure. But somehow, all together for this kind of weird, murky green fall manicure, I think it's going to work. I hope so. I hope it turns out as cool as it looked in the polished sketchbook. Actually, I hope it turns out even cooler than it looked in the polished sketchbook. Shit. That was sloppy. Well, what's new with that, of course, right? Because it was another one of those ones, and I, you know, sometimes I don't realize until I get to it. Like, it was kind of hard to show on camera. The colors were turning out really a lot darker than they actually were with the white paper, and I think just having it, you know, actually on my fingers as opposed to on the page will make it a little bit easier to make it visible. That's such a weird color on camera. Came for the nail art, stayed for the gaming. Electabite. I'm not sure Bean's even sleeping. You sleeping, boy? He like blinked. He says, I'm trying to be sleeping. And welcome, Electa. Yeah, I really like all these colors, and I think several of them are from the same collection, but I don't remember for sure. And somebody, was it in chat today or was it in Discord? Somebody mentioned getting the Zoya holiday box. Man, I saw that on Instagram and I'm so tempted because I like the look of the new collection, but I think I need to go and double check and see if it actually is what it looks like. The six bonus shades, if those are always the same six colors, I'm pretty sure I own almost all six of those already. So even though it's such a good deal, it's like, is it really such a good deal still, considering that I already own these and I don't really need these colors? Um, I suppose I could get them and do like a giveaway or something, but giveaways are kind of difficult and hassle to run. Like honestly, the couple times that I've done it, like literally a couple. I think I've done 2 giveaways ever. Um, were hassles, and maybe it gets easier, as you like learn your way around. But I don't recall the second one being much of any easier than the first. It was just like, I don't know. Yeah, what a weird. I mean, it looks very yellow here, but I think like with the others, like the olivey greeniness of it comes through. Came for the nail art, stayed for the nail arts. Yeah. Yeah, and I was so glad. I think that was last week. Oh, we got probably a beanie hair in here. Um, that so many of you enjoyed playing the mud. I think her channel is just freaking like so far when I've been watching her, like she hasn't been doing anything, that out of the box, but just her ease and her consistency with the wheel and with the clay, aside from like so many awesome adorable studio cats running around. Her channel is really cool. I don't even remember how I found her, probably through a host, maybe through just looking in creative, which to me is the other kind of downside. Like now, if I don't see anything I want to watch and I want to browse like creative streamers, I've got like 5 categories that I need to search now instead of just one. There's one for makeup, there's one for arts and crafts, there's one for art. Um, so like that's my own personal inconvenience from the changes that they've made. Like a sparkly mustard color. Is that a color or a word or a term or an item or a misspelling? Oh. I need to go and double check and make sure which it is, because it's an awesome deal. Anybody that doesn't know, it's like a box with 18 polishes and some other stuff for I think $64, which is not cheap. But Zoya nail polishes are usually, I want to say, $10 each. So it's like a 200 and something dollar value for 60 something dollars, and I'm probably pretty sure it has free shipping because their promotional items usually do. Yeah, I love the pixie dusts, especially because you can wear them pixie dust or you can wear them glossy. Oh, just color. Okay, and I feel like I should have been able to know that now that I read, like, oh, color, of course. And it's a logical misspelling too, but sometimes um I saw it on their Instagram, Sunburnt, but I'm gonna guess it's probably on their site too, because it wasn't. It's like a box all put together, so I don't think you need a code for it. But if you don't see it on their site, check their Instagram. Um, Sometimes when I'm streaming, my brain just like can't recognize the word color with one misspelled letter. But I don't know. It's one of the things that I'm okay with that. Like my thing is, when I started streaming, I kind of gave myself some guidelines of like shit not to worry about and like how to handle stuff. And one of the things is, if you don't know what somebody's talking about, whether that's a comment or a word or whatever, just like fuck a say so. Don't try and like play it off and then I think you end up looking even dumber. And half the time I don't understand just because I didn't see the comment immediately when it was made and I don't remember what came out of my own mouth 30 seconds ago. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding or a misreading. I mean, I do that too because you try to go fast and read fast and then like you skim over a word that is actually like the most important word in the sentence and then the whole meaning of the sentence changes and then you're left like confused. Or just a word that you don't know. I mean, I have a pretty good vocabulary, but I mean, there's lots of words, man. Or a language I don't know, as happened the other day. And then thankfully, we've got mods. Alright, so oops. I feel like it's looking greener even just with that second coat compared to the first coat. Such a weird color. I'm surprised my mom hasn't worn this yet. She really likes weird greens and weird yellows and combinations thereof. And speaking of Hollow Knight, as we were just a little bit ago, for tomorrow's Hollow Knight stream, we are going to be attempting speed completion again. So last week, man, I had some severely mixed feelings. I was really proud of myself for finishing it. I did really well at most things that I a lot of times hadn't done since the really beginning of my casual playthrough. But I got stuck really bad on a couple things. The worst being those damn Watcher Nights. And if I had not gotten stuck so badly on the Watcher Nights, I would have had the sub 5 hour. As it was like 7.5 hours. 7:27 or 7:37, I think. Anybody that's super interested can look in Discord because I posted a picture. But so I was really disappointed with how I performed with the Watcher Nights and that huge mistake, that one mistake, but that huge mistake kept me from meeting my goal. But yeah, the Hullabaloo holiday box. And I mean, they're, on the expensive side for polish, but I love Zoya polish, and my mom also loves Zoya polish. And they have a lot of sales. Like on their Instagram or on their Twitter, a lot of times they'll have, buy one, get one free, or certain % off your entire order, or sometimes with collections, they'll have like, 2 boxes, like a 12-piece collection split into 2 6-piece half collections, and, like buy one box, get the second box free. Usually do a really good Black Friday sale and some other stuff. So I definitely do recommend Zoya, but I also definitely do recommend Zoya on sale. I know what you mean, Amethyst. You're like, wait a minute, what? And then you're like, okay, self, you better read that again, because I know you. I think it looks a lot different after the second coat. A lot prettier, and you can kind of see a little bit more. I mean, if I was wearing it as a manicure, I actually might want a third coat, because I feel like there's a little bit of visible nail line there. Like on my ring finger in particular. Oh, I got something a little bit weird going on in the pinky there, too. Can see in the reflection. What's going on with you, Pinky? Thank you, Sunburnt. Yeah, so anyway, I'm doing that again this Sunday, and the goal is to just not have issues in those 2 spots I had issues, and I should be able to get the sub 5. But yeah, the Watcher Nights are complete dicks. And I don't know. We'll see. The plan is probably to do a little bit of practice on them in the Hall of Gods before I start a run, but not too much. I might even do a little bit of practice tonight, not on stream, but like while I watch Dr. Crotron. Assuming and hoping that there's a Dr. Crotron stream tonight. Which, it's a scheduled night, but Dr. Crotron always says, it only goes down if it gets okay from Mrs. Dr. Crotron. And if she wants to do something, then he has to go do something. Then he gets to go do something. No, Dr. Crotron's wife seems pretty cool. He's mentioned before that she's also a gamer, and, you know, I don't know. It's always nice to see people, and it's like, you actually found the person that you're supposed to be with, in addition to maybe, you know, a little bit of jealousy. Yeah, like the metallic Sharpies. Because a lot of times those do actually have a little bit slightly green cast to the goldenness. It's very fall. I mean, like I've said before, I don't completely base my nail choices on the seasons, but I feel like this is very fall. So then after the sub 5 sunburnt, what I'm thinking is either like really cleaning it up and tightening it up and running like a kind of altered any percent, like Jerry runs Jerry percent, or if I'm feeling really confident, I'm thinking of learning the 106% that Dr. Crotron runs. And I know you've gotten a little bit more familiar with that too, but that's basically almost the entire game through a couple patches ago. And then if I ever get like ultra good, I mean, I'd love to give the 112% a try, but I haven't even beaten everything that requires in my casual playthrough yet. So I think speed running that would be a little bit of a stretch so far. But like 106%, there's several things in there that look really, really hard that Dr. Crotron does, but they're not actually required. Like as a beginner, there's no reason I couldn't cut those out and work on learning those separately and just work on, you know, learning the route, running the game, cleaning up movement, getting really good at bosses and those type of things. And really, last week's run had a couple of moments that had me like so happy. Like first try on Hollow Knight, I thought for sure I was going to get stuck there for a while. I really did. Okay, so first, I'm just looking at my sponges here. Like I want to save some of the ones with the super nice craters for the green and the blue. So I'm just kind of like looking at how deep their craters and stuff are, and setting some of the really, really nice ones to the side for the later layers. And then we're going to get started on applying these here. Some of these, well, okay. We'll stick that one over there, and this piece is actually probably too small to use. This is kind of a weird shaped piece. We'll put that there. We'll do that. We'll maybe start with that piece. No, we'll start with this piece. Yeah. Then we'll maybe use this piece. And then we've got like some extra pieces here. Okay. I think. He is a smart man. Not just book smart either. But yeah, I love Hollow Knight. It's absolutely my favorite game. I can't imagine just stopping playing it. I do have a couple other games that I want to play too, but I'm not positive when I'm going to fit those in. It would be much easier to fit them in if I could start doing a couple more weekday streams, but you'll see when we get there. I don't want to like put it totally out there, because then I'm going to feel like too much pressure. Like, okay, now I really got to do it. I said it, now I really got to do it. Okay, so first we're going to be working with Arbor. Miss Invisible, hello. We're doing good. We are just we're getting started into the tutorial here. We just finished our base color. I think I've been trying to give it a minute to dry, because like the thing is, and I guess I didn't really explain when I was doing my testing either, I don't want to be sponging up my base color as I'm sponging on the texture layers. So, you want me to move this bean? There you go. Plenty of room for Beanie. So, yeah, that's the main reason why I'm waiting for stuff to dry. I mean, you guys are probably used to me a lot of the times just being going like, dry enough, we'll push forward. But in this case, it could be, I don't want to say detrimental, but it could mess around with the design a little bit more. Yeah, the Void Heart edition. It's really cool because it feels like every time it gets on a new platform, it kind of gets, you know, new players or just a little bit more like top of mind for people, a little bit more popularity. So, lurking and doing homework. All done with the homework, I'm going to assume, young lady? Okay, so yeah. I'm nervous, you guys. I actually feel a little bit nervous. Let me just re-look at this again and remind myself of all the important things. We want a textured sponge. We want a light touch. And good things will happen. Okay. Okay. This is another manicure where I don't want to overload polish on the brush. So I'm on the brush. This is a sponge. So this is another manicure where I don't want to overload polish on the sponge. So I'm going to be using a plastic lid to put my polish out. And then I want a lot of texture from the sponge. So I've actually ripped my sponge into pieces and really want to take advantage of those pits and craters to help create the texture. So the first color I'm going to be going in with is Arbor. I'm going to put a little bit out, not too much. Like I said, I want to really control the amount that I'm using. And with the sponge, I'm going to find one of the roughest spots that I can and pick up a little bit of polish and use a very light dabbing on the nail. And this one isn't going to be super obvious because it's kind of close to the base color, but we're going to just build up the colors one at a time, and each layer is going to add a little bit more texture, a little different color, and repeat that for every color on all my nails. Alright, this is going okay so far. Like I said, I am getting some polish on my skin. That's expected and accepted. Or expected and acceptable, maybe I should say. Wait, yeah, whatever. I'm not mad about it. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to just not get too aggressive with the sponge. Like keep it real piecey and speckly. And in this case, I feel like my my webcam is possibly showing it off even a little bit better than my tutorial camera. And when I'm done with each hand, I'm kind of just eyeballing if there are any other spots that look like they really need a little bit more. All right. I always have to be careful when I switch hands that I don't just knock my other hand into things randomly. And I didn't practice at all with my left hand, and didn't we talk about that before? So now I really... Okay, we'll just... Actually, don't need to... Oh, a sneeze. Not a sneeze. A sneeze? Not a sneeze. Might be a sneeze in there, you guys. Somewhere. Eventually. Not quite yet, but... I really thought it was coming out for a minute. Yeah, we're still on camera. Don't want anybody yelling at me. And finish off this thumb here. Like, we want to make sure some of that nice yellow is still coming through. Well, now I'm calling it yellow. It's not really yellow, but it's the yellowest of the greens. All right. So I probably could use... Let's use this corner. Which corner do I want to use? We'll use that corner. Okay. A bread and wine coma. Oh, taking a break from homework. That's also important. Most things are hard to do for like too long just straight. The autocorrect. Yeah, I know a few years ago, well, it's probably more than a few now, they passed a similar law here, Amethyst. And it is kind of convenient, except then usually it's like whatever I want is like slightly above that liquor threshold, and I still got to go to the liquor store. Excuse me. Yeah, when I was in California, the time I stayed out there for an extended amount, and I went shopping at Target, and I went around the corner and came across this huge liquor display. I was like, well, shit, do they have some Not My Father's? Well, Not Your Father. It's called Not Your Father's. I don't know why I said Not My Father's. But the alcoholic root beer that I really like. Yeah, sunburnt. They did this. They did the same thing here in Minnesota when they legalized it medically. Yeah, and that was the way it was here in Minnesota until just recently. People be driving over to Wisconsin. I forget if it was this past July or the previous July, but I mean, like, very recently. Matte white glitters for salt? That sounds so adorable, musical. Yeah, it was so convenient because that's the thing with me. It's like, okay, this should be about, like, the consumer's convenience, I think. And I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted again by my sponge. Same thing. There's still a few things here that you can't do on Sunday, like buy a car, and even the liquor thing. Some places were for it, and some places were against it. And I see both sides. Like, yeah, you do have to pay an employee, and you do have to be open another day. And it really probably is not going to impact most stores very much unless they are one of those stores that was right on the Wisconsin border, just watching people drive by them every Sunday. But, like, I'm the consumer, and I want easy access. Oh, that would be... I mean, I could see how that would be kind of frustrating. What they've been doing around here lately is raising the age to purchase cigarettes to 21 in a lot of the cities. And I don't think I need to talk for everyone. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this is the sparkly one, which, as I noted before, I pretty much always need more of than I think. So, let's be fairly heavy-handed with this one, because it's sheerish, but I definitely still want sparkles coming through when we finish. I almost considered, like, just painting a coat of this, either over the base color or over the first layer of sponging, but I think going with sponging is still the way to go. But just a more heavy-handed sponging than any of the other colors. just because of the type of polish that this one is. Definitely want plenty of sparkles coming through when I'm done. For some of these nails, I'm just using kind of the corner of the brush to add a big, well, kind of a big glom of glitterish. Glom of glitterish. There's the most technical term we'll be having today. But again, I think you guys know what I mean. Whether because I actually make sense or because you're just used to how little sense I make, I couldn't call it. But the important thing is that I'm understood. All right. For a minute, I thought I had forgotten the first color on my other hand, but no, I didn't. Not that big of a spaz today. Yeah, I'm not either sunburnt. It's just, I mean, I'm not, like you said, I'm not against it. It's just not super my cup of tea. You know, there's been some alcoholism in my family, which I'm also, you know, kind of like not a huge fan of. And two, just like being super drunk, I literally don't see the appeal. Like being drunk enough that you feel ill, or being drunk enough that you don't remember what you did the next day. You didn't catch that? That was like, no. Or I mean, like, why? Like, that's not fun. At least my opinion. Maybe some people, maybe it's funner than I think it is to wake up in your own vomit. But I'm pretty sure that doesn't sound fun. All right, couple more dabs of glitter. And then we'll move on to the darker colors. And we'll be very, very careful with these dark colors. Because if there's a place for the concept to go awry, I think it would be with over or under application of this dark green. So let's again look at our polished sketchbook and really fucking take notes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes a huge difference too, though, Amethyst. Like you said, if you have kids, you can't just be, you know, drinking whenever you want to drink. Yeah, I love, like, you know, pina coladas. And okay, if you ever go to Benihana, they have a coconut mojito. It's the most delicious thing I ever tasted in my whole entire life. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, I'll have a drink or two, like I said, and especially if somebody else is paying for it, because that's the other thing. If you go out to drink, like, one drink is like as much as a whole bottle would cost at the liquor store. And I'm not down for that. Getting caught in the rain. You like pina colada? No, that's not the beat. That's not the beat at all. Don't mind me. You know, and it can make me, you know, relax a little bit more, be a little bit more sociable in real life situations. Because, like, what I found is, you know, like a drink or two will, like, the filter that I remove when I go stream, that filter comes off also in real life if I've had a drink or two. Which, again, appropriate situations could be a good thing. So let me see here. Probably this one. Yeah, this is the one for the dark green. Yeah, $9. That's how it is at the state fair, Sunburned. Like everything is expensive at the fair, but liquor is particular expensive. A chocolatini. That sounds good. Last year when I was in California, I think the favorite drink I had, it's kind of frustrating because like at the evening social events, there's open bar, but it's just beer and wine, and a lot of times it's not wine that I find delicious. And it's like I would like to have a drink, but I don't drink beer. Beer is not delicious to me at all, or refreshing, or whatever reasons people drink beer. And like wine, I want a wine that tastes like juice. Like honestly. But one of the extra days I was there, I went out to dinner with a friend and I had a pomegranate Cosmo. Is that what it was? Pomegranate something. I think it was a Cosmo, and boy, slurp that all day long. I mean, probably not because I felt it, but I mean, it was so yummy, you guys. All right, let's get this the darkest green, you guys. This is, like I just said, the make or break for this manicure. I'm going to be using this real textured side. Light touches. Textured, light polish pickup, light touches. And the camera's doing that thing again with my white napkin, just like it was doing with the white sketchbook. It's another one of the reasons, and I hope most people that watch my videos know that they're there, but that I always try to include some pictures at the end of the video, because sometimes it just is impossible to get the color accurate look on camera with all the lighting and the white background and all that stuff. Like when I'm recording the tutorial, I'm not necessarily trying to get like the most color accurate look of the polish. I'm trying to get the most clearly visible as I can look at the technique that I'm accomplishing, you know, and explain things clearly and show the action. Whereas, you know, I mean, eventually once the manicure is done, I do want to show the more color accurate and more closer up look at the design and stuff. All right, again, moderate polish, gentle tap. This is going well, by the way, you guys. Oh, that was a bit much. Can I actually? That helped a little bit. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, to actually pick up polish with the clean side of the sponge when I over sponge. But really, you know, like I said, it's getting that rough sponge in the first place, and then really applying with a light touch. Oops. Slightly off camera there. I apologize. Somebody maybe yelled at me. Nobody yelled at me. It's because everybody's talking about beer in chat. That's what I saw at a glance. I'll get caught up in a minute here once I finish this layer. Yeah. Oh. I'm so pleased right now. I mean, I could nitpick. I could always nitpick. But I really like this. I do recall getting sips of beer as a kid and not hating it. Turns out you like Bud Light. I learned it's the phosphites, which are part of the hops, which I don't like, because I had a mead and all the ingredients was honey, water, and phosphites, and I thought it tasted like beer. I was like, ooh, it's going to be tasting like honey. It's going to be delicious. I was so sad. Blueberry wine, hell yeah. Blackberry wine, yum. I don't have, you know, no. Do I have wine downstairs? I want wine now, just because I'm like, think about how delicious it is. It's like a little cup. They say a little cup's good for your health, right? All right, so which side then are we going to want to use for this blue? We want another super craggy one. Maybe this one right here. We'll this one right here. You can, yeah, look at that. Like a lot of crags and interesting stuff. Another thing that's really good, I always get a sample at the fair, but I never get the stuff that you actually use to make it. Freaking wine slushy or wine smoothie, like frozen, like. If we ever go to the Minnesota State Fair, go in the Creative Activities building and find the people giving away the free wine slushy samples. All right. Very mindful. Oh, we're not even. This bottle's not closed and this bottle's not open. That would help. I've had, well, I don't know if it was wine. I've had chocolate liquor before, or alcoholic chocolate. Had to install a light fixture. Well, Doc, we are well on our way to a stipply, ripply, textured. Shit, I just speckled. We're doing a green speckly thing, and I'm liking it very much. That is interesting. I would have left the damn hops out. Like, yes, please change the taste. Yes, an alcohol talk. Yes, the dead frog Manny. All right. Okay. Start recording and then move things, Colette. All right. The blue. The blue makes it not dead frog. The blue adds just enough brightness. All right, carefully. Very carefully. Don't want to lose the greens, don't want to lose any of the colors. Just want to add in a little bit of blue sparkle. I'm actually kind of having to use more of the blue than I expect to also. I wonder if that is from the same collection as the other sparkly one. Ooh, that was kind of a lot of blue. It's okay. We'll just be more sparse. Oh, can we pick some up with the clean side? There we go. Then reapply just a little bit. Pick it up and then put it back down. And it's kind of like, I think too, the blue shows up really nicely over some of the dark areas, so kind of trying to responge in similar areas so that it shows up over the dark instead of over some of the lighter colors. It's both helping the blue to show up and helping the lighter colors not to be, oops, that was kind of a bit much, not to be fully lost. Interesting. The shimmer of this blue is a lot more visible on my tutorial camera. I suppose that's interesting for you guys too. Like, I can see them both as I'm working, but you guys that are watching the stream camera to get a chance to see it on the tutorial camera. Because it's like they're surprisingly different for, I mean, they're literally right next to each other. They're filming the exact same thing. Oops. We're not. There. Alrighty. Just about done here. Well, we're still going to have quite a bit of cleanup. But just about done with the sponging bit. I think, do we need any touch-ups of blue anywhere? Maybe just a... Oh, my stomach is growling again. I decided it's probably because I didn't have any orange juice this morning, because I'm out of orange juice, and orange juice helps to settle my tummy. Hey, there's orange juice here. As I start talking about my own lack of orange juice. Hello, orange juice. OJ. No, I'm not going to call you OJ, because people only think about OJ Simpson. It is kind of quasi camo. I would love to do another I would love to do a pink camo. Ooh, October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Depression Awareness Month. How am I almost not remembering this? I should have saved this till next week. Of course, it's got the blue in there. For anybody that doesn't know, I always do at least one all green tutorial in October for depression awareness. I don't always do a pink manicure because I feel like breast cancer awareness is top of mind for everybody in October and top of mind for a lot of people all year round, and I don't feel like depression awareness gets as much attention. So depression awareness manicure is a must for me, and a breast cancer awareness is kind of like, if I get inspired by pink, but maybe I could do a pink camo this year because that's been kind of on my to-do list for a long time. Also gets hard to fit stuff in because it's Halloween month and I like doing Halloween manicures. Oh, you won't be streaming tonight due to alcoholic talk. See, you guys, I told you. Dr. Crotron must go finish his social obligations with Mrs. Dr. Crotron, I'm assuming. Drinks with friends. The real life friends that he doesn't love as much as us Twitch friends. No, I hope you have a good time, Dr. Crotron. Sangria. I like sangria too. I saw Orange Juice's name and then didn't even read the comment. Thank you, Music Gal. So I felt like they probably were, and then I was like, so that would be, which is Scout and Arbor and River. These all from the same collection. And then these, I don't know where these came from. These, we're close in. So these three were from the same collection. And then these other two were not from the same collection, but they all go together to me in my kingdom. Yeah, some of us have a handful. I have one sunburnt. Whenever you guys hear me talk about my friend, it's 90%, probably 95 or 98% chances it's the same friend that I'm referring to. I hope you can, Doc. I mean, I definitely would try to keep sometimes if I don't trust my notifications and I think you might sneak and go live, like one night you mentioned you were about to practice and I didn't want to just be in somebody else's stream, hey, are you going to go practice? Let me ditch this other person. I just opened up your channel on my second monitor so that if you went live, I didn't have to worry about seeing my notification from Twitch or checking my notification on my phone or notifications acting funky. I just would have it up on my second monitor. So that will probably be Discord. Dr. Crotron Discord. Hell yeah, I'm gonna join it as soon as stream is over, Doc. When I tell you you're my favorite streamer, I'm not lying, and it's not only because you're my friend. You also happen to be streaming my favorite game at a high level. So, and anybody that wants to see some Hollow Knight, possibly later. Or if not later, possibly tomorrow morning. Or if not tomorrow morning, possibly Monday evening. Or possibly random middle of the week streams. Go check out Dr. Crotron's channel. Dr. Crotron, you can even give yourself a shout out if you want. Okay, so we need to do some cleanup. We've got... I don't feel like this is a ridiculous amount of cleanup, and I feel like I definitely could have been neater if I had tried harder. Simply peel or whatever barrier you prefer is always an option, of course, but it adds its own hassle. You gotta wait for it to dry. You gotta apply it. You gotta peel it off. You still gotta clean up closely around the edges unless you're a god at applying it closely. So... not like that, Doc. So, and like I did last week too, I'm going to do the Q-tip thing to get some of the larger parts or some of the glitterier parts, and then I'm going to go in closely with my brush. Why do kids always? I'm going to guess that's an always. Why do kids always? No matter what the question is, it's because they're kids and they're kind of dumb. I shouldn't say that. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? You tell I'm not a kid person. Their feet in your face. Oh, because they want to fuck with you. Hey, look at my feet. No, you know what you should do? And it's something, I think my mom told me this, and I always try to remember it and most of the time I don't. Of course, I don't interact with a lot of small children often, but when small children do something weird, like ask them why. Because sometimes they have super interesting reasons, or if they say something weird, like ask them questions about that. Like my mom said, she thought of it too late, like way after the fact one time several years ago, and one of my nieces said, I forget if she said she was a vampire or somebody else was a vampire. My mom was like, I should have asked her what a vampire is. Like, how does she know what a vampire is? Or what does she think a vampire is? Dr. Croton, I will try. Hopefully, what you need to do is you gotta get Ninja in there. Because I'm also a complete Discord noob. As long as you followed the instructions, I would say hopefully you have like at least 2 channels. One channel should only allow you to post, and the other channel should allow everybody to post. I mean, unless you just want it to be strictly an announcements thing and don't want people hanging out on your server. But, well, you can look at mine and you can see, like, I have the stuff from Colette, which is announcements and, like, the FAQ section. And everybody, remember to turn on read access so people can see your announcements. And then the other stuff is like stuff for everyone. And that's where I have like the general and the food and the nail polish, and just made sure to turn on permissions. And there's stuff to like, have default permissions and all that. And then there's roles and stuff, but you don't have to get into that if you don't want to. I don't know what would be your owner role anyway. You got to think of a real cool name if you set up an owner role. And Nail Master is taken. Feet over butts. That sounds exactly about right. Hopefully at least the 13-year-old should almost be grown out of that, Anne. The keeper of the murder. Not the murderer. That's probably good not to make your owner name the murderer. Discord might be like, hey, kind of a Discord you got going on over here. No farting on mommy. It's a groundable offense. Mentors of the murder. I don't have a good cool name for my subscribers yet. I thought about, and we're totally sidetracking you guys. We're close to the end and we're sidetracking. Thought about upgrading myself from Nail Master to Nail Sage, and then my subs would be Nail Masters. Thought about that, but I haven't executed yet because I really, for some reason, Nail Master kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit more than Nail Sage. Do it. A food-based sidetrack. Yeah, I think the alcohol sidetrack probably falls like under the food tier. Discord is a slightly more productive sidetrack. Let's at least get cleaning here. Once you're done, you can clean up around the edges. I'm using a Q-tip to get some of the larger areas before I go in with a small brush. And if you're not keen to do this step, you can, of course, always use Simply Peel or some kind of barrier around your nails when you're doing the sponging. Hopefully that's clear. But yeah, I mean, like, this is, especially considering the colors, like, these are not being real stubborn coming off or anything. They're not a difficult cleanup. especially, like I said, with the Q-tip. And if you don't have a brush too, like I should probably mention this in my tutorials sometimes, but I probably never will. You can take like an orange stick and you can kind of just wrap the end in just a small amount of cotton and use that to really get in there tight. I feel like I maybe even did that a couple weeks ago when I was really having trouble getting in close on some particular, was it a smooshie? Smooshies can just get bad because even if you think you're not very messy, then you end up with it like flowing off the side of your nail. I probably could have not necessarily recorded this hand, but I can cut it in the edit to just show the Q-tip on my left hand and then cut right to the brush on my left hand. I really like the way these turned out. I hope that the top coat makes them extra awesome. Well, I expect that the top coat will make them extra awesome. If it's not, I would be like shocked and disappointed. Agreed, Musical? With which? I missed it because that was probably like a minute or two ago and I don't know what you're agreeing with. I'm guessing either about the Discord names or about not using Simply Peel in this situation. There, look how nice that is. All cleaned up. Oops. Sorry. I think I've gotten slightly better at not hitting you guys upside the camera. But I've still got some work to do. Just certain times I forget quite how long the brush is. Like right now, I think I could hit you pretty easily. Yeah. Sorry. I test it and then I do it like 4 times in a row. That's probably kind of mean. Because it looks horrible on stream. I've seen in certain cases. It doesn't always look super horrible. The one time I forget if I was doing something as I was uploading it to YouTube. Maybe I was putting in an ad break or something and I caught one of the times when I was attaching my tutorial camera and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize it really shook that horribly. And that is a lesson I did learn, and I made sure to get my tutorial camera attached prior to stream today. It's a lot of stuff I didn't do prior to stream today, but that is one thing that I successfully did. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Uh-oh, you guys. It's that time of stream when Colette loses part of her brain and can't keep a straight thought. Because the thoughts are probably... Like, I'm trying to stay focused on my nails because it's like, it's super the home stretch. But, like, I'm starting to think about food and, like, what am I going to cook? Even though that's, like, not at all an urgent thing. Because I couldn't, if I had food waiting for me downstairs, there's no way I could eat, like, immediately after stream, I don't think. Like, I need to just come down for, like, a half hour to an hour and just, like I don't find streaming super stressful, but I guess I do find it maybe moderately stressful. Especially sometimes toward the beginning and toward the end. Like, I feel like I have awkward intros and too long outros. The middle just is what it is. I mean, I'm just doing what I would normally be doing, except I'm chatting with people who think what I'm doing is cool. And there's nothing really stressful about that, except in cases where, like, the whole point is to experiment. But in some cases, like when stuff starts going wrong, that can be stressful. Usually not too bad, but sometimes it's just like, oh my god. I have to solve this because I'm, like, on stream, but I don't know how to solve this. And that can be kind of stressful. But the more I accept it and just roll with it, the easier it is. Now that's kind of interesting. I see a bubble there. And how did I get a bubble when I was sponging? Is that a bubble that was in the base color? Right there? See it? Or is it just a lump? There. Pressed it a little flatter. And this is not dry. I mean, like, it was dry enough for me to help press it flat, but wet enough to not, like, wet enough to still move, I guess I want to say. So it wasn't like I got, you know, a fingerful of nail polish when I pressed it flat, or on my brush when I used the brush to press it flat. But it wasn't fully dry. And there are a lot of different levels of dryness with nail polish. Oh, he is still here. Pork curry. With the design is A+, 100% Musical Green Lover approved. Oh, thank you. And Barbie also thinks it's gorgeous. Oh, that the nail master rolls off the tongue more smoothly. Yes. You felt like a creeper. Yeah, I don't think I've like found friends on Discord. I mean, I have a few people in my friends list of people that I've had DMs back and forth with. But I didn't like go out and like try to find all the people, you know, like on my email contact list or whatever. And I'm not a member of a huge number of Discords. Like, I follow a lot of channels on Twitch that I don't see any reason to necessarily join their Discord. Especially channels that I'm not in like very often, because it's one more thing to keep up with. And some are more active than others, certainly. But I want to say I follow maybe half a dozen Discords. And one of those now, too, is I did finally follow the actual Hollow Knight Discord, where the speedrunners of the game, well, and fans of the game, too, I suppose, hang out. Excuse me. Don't know what I'm burping for. It's not like I've been sitting here drinking soda. Oh, speaking of soda, which makes me think of Crow Soda. Anybody that hasn't already noticed, we have Dr. Crowtron's awesome emotes available to use in my channel, because Dr. Crowtron is extremely generous and allowed me to add them through FFZ, which is a browser extension, which gives you extra Twitch emotes. And I would encourage you guys to use them, because they're really adorable. They are made by Moon Bandit. Alright, almost done here. Just want to get these. I feel like I did better cleanup on my right, or on my left hand, than I did on my right hand here. And I want to make sure, of course, that they're very neat before doing the top coat. I feel like I have more glitter residue left on my right hand. Maybe I didn't do as well with the Q-tip cleanup. And I hope, like, sometimes I doubt my audio. I hope when I get really close to the ring light, I'm not sounding too weird, like right now. Because, like, my mouth is, like, right next to the ring light. I feel like it could easily sort of muffle me. I mean, I'm not, like, roar, 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 like that. But, I should be more mindful. I should just try to keep my mouth just not quite that close. Okay, a little bit more around here. Yeah, those glittery. Let's just not complain about it. There. Let's pick up these little sparkles. That's a lot better. And I'm really kind of surprised that Bean is still... No, you know, actually I shouldn't be surprised. I really shouldn't, because we've talked before about how Bean loves to be comfortable. Bean loves to be warm. And right before stream, I decided I needed to get out my space heater because it was not warm enough in my room. It always gets kind of chilly in my room. There's not a lot of insulation in this old house. And for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the stream when we were talking weather, the high here today in lovely Minneapolis is fucking 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Somebody once told me how to easily convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, and I don't remember. So if anybody knows that conversion, they can tell people that use the logical measuring system. But it's quite chilly. It's not cold. I can't call it cold, but it's chilly enough that, like, when I drive, I'll wear gloves. And definitely need a heavyweight sweater, if not an actual coat or jacket, like late at night. Well, late at night, I should say. After dark, which is not really freaking late at night anymore because it's not summer. Okay. We're going to need some good hand washing here, too. I mean, that's always the case if you've got little loose, weird glitters running around. You know, at a certain point, hand washing is going to get you a lot farther than polish remover. Let's see. Food talk. Okay, pork curry, Mediterranean takeout, leftover pizza. I'm glad you enjoy it, Barbie. Like, I mean, that was the whole idea. Like, when I started streaming, that I thought a lot of people would be interested in the stuff that, you know, goes before the tutorial. So I'm really glad that you guys enjoy. Bacon. Oh, yeah, the bacon bananas and banana peppers. Man, I might have to have some pizza. I was gonna do nachos because nachos is fairly easy. I mean, my nachos have several steps to them, but they're still fairly easy and they're delicious. It's like a reward for getting my stream done successfully. Oh, Doc is headed out for socializing. If you're still here, thank you for stopping by, Dr. Crotron. If you stream later, I will see you. Dry, tacky, and set. Yeah, I would even add another one, like... Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Well, there's wet. Of course, there's still wet. Dry, tacky, wet, set. Or set, wet. Or, you know, I think you know what I'm trying to say. The dead frog is looking great. Thank you, Dr. Crotron. We are all friends here, Barbie. Sunburn, you do have to install it, but it's like a really easy install. In fact, I'm just making sure that my acetone is fully evaporated before I top coat. Maybe I'll see if I can find the link and drop it in here. I'm glad you like it, Caters. And it's really weird. Most people in Minnesota call it pop, but for some reason, at some certain point in my life, I started calling it soda. I think possibly maybe there was somebody in my life or at work that, like, was not from Minnesota, and so they didn't understand what pop was. You know, I think that is something we do as people and don't even always notice. You do change your language depending on who you're around, like, to make yourself understood by them. And just, it's like a natural thing that people do. So yeah, most people around me call it pop, but I call it soda. Yeah. 49 is cold. Yeah, Google would probably know too. Hey, Google. How hot is 49 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
49 degrees Fahrenheit equal 9.444 degrees Celsius.
Down to the decimal. I'm assuming you guys heard that because per our previous conversations, this microphone, man. Oh, you thought you had it installed? Well, let me just quickly look here. Well, the other way to tell if you have it installed, I think, is this it here? So Sunburn, it at the top. Are you in Chrome? I'm in Chrome, so I'm just going off what Chrome shows. At the top of Chrome, there's the address bar with the URL, and then as you go off to the right side of the address bar, like before where the menu is or before where the cast option is, there'll be like a little doggy face. That's the Franker face that shows Franker Face Z is installed, and if you click on it, I mean, I think it's on by default. Let's see. I have Franker Face Z, options, remove from Chrome, hide in Chrome menu, or manage extensions. I'm gonna just drop it. And in fact, I don't even know how it works in other browsers. That's something I should know. Anybody? There's the there it is in the Chrome Web Store. And what it will do, I mean, it's simple. It's not even like a whole program. It's just an extension. But if you are ever seeing emotes that you can see on my on-screen thing down there, I mean, you don't see in your chat, it's probably because they're Franker Face Z. Or there's also another extension, BTTV, Better Twitch TV. And so, like, if you can see, like, this adorable little emote, it's one of Dr. Crotron's, then you have FFZ installed. And if you don't, then you don't. Or you have it turned off or something. If you have questions, I will try to help. I'm so not a pro at it, though. But I try. That's one of my favorite Dr. Crow emotes. Because it's just, oh, so adorbs. Alright, top coat. Top coat should be freaking the shit with this manicure. I expect things to really, like, all come together really awesomely, I hope. I mean, it did on the testing, but it's always a little bit different. You had it, so now you're going to refresh and see what happened. Another really convenient thing, and I think this is from FFZ. I don't think this is a regular Twitch feature, is like in the chat, if you type a semicolon and a letter, like if I type, I'm going to do it in chat so you could see. If I type like that, it will show up all the emotes that have that extension, or it'll show me options of what I can pick with that, and then you can like arrow up and down, and it helps me to find emotes because I can never remember stuff. And it'll do that with Twitch emotes too, so I can do that with like all of Twitch's standard emotes or the emotes that I have from channels that I'm subscribed to. And that is just as convenient to me as having the extra emotes, as having that, I don't even know what the technical name is, the quick search or the, I don't know, the colon search. I'm 80% sure that's from FFZ. It could be from BTTV. I'm fairly sure it's not a Twitch feature. I also think that the press up to get to your last message is a FFC feature, but I'm also not sure on that. I should know these things, you guys. The press up is basically when you're in the text box, you can press up and it will scroll through your previous messages. So if you want to like say the same thing again, which sometimes like with emotes, maybe you might want to do the same emote again, or if you maybe put something and want to just, you misspelled it, or you do want to change something, whatever, or you just are like, man, what did I just say? You can go back and check. I find it convenient. Yeah, that's weird. I wish I knew something else to troubleshoot with, Sunburned. You might, if you can't figure it out, you might post it in my questions section, and maybe somebody else will know. Like SSD Ninja, he knows his way around Twitch and Twitch related things, Discord and FFZ and all that fairly well. Or maybe we have somebody else around who has had a similar issue. Because I don't know. I mean, and sometimes, you know, there might, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate further, because every time I would just say something and be like, well, but I don't know. Don't take my word for it. All right, let's get this top coat on here. Finally, we'll be finishing off with the top coat. And as usual, I'm using Seche Vite. The magical Seche Vite. Yeah, the blue. The blue pops so much more with the top coat. And I always recommend wrapping tips. It helps with the longevity of the manicure and with tip wear. Wrapping kind of like the sides like I do is something that I do mainly because I use the peel-off base, and I feel like that helps to really seal it in there where water may try to get in and make stuff peel up before you want it to peel up. Yeah, the blue is really, and the other sparkly one too, are both really benefiting, I think, from the top coat. And as I said before, a heaping generous glom of top coat. Seche Vite is thick. I apply it thick. Something like this too, it's gonna have some texture because it's multiple levels of sponging. So a good thick layer of top coat will smooth all that out really nicely. You guys. I love this. I love it. And I love that it looks like what I wanted it to look like. And this is easy. It's got some little quirks to it, but we're using ripped sponges to do nail art. It's not, this isn't one of those perfectionist-y things. There are some things to watch out for, like when we were testing and I was applying too much pressure on the sponge and we weren't getting as much of a spongy texture. But then again, maybe you want that kind of a look. That's kind of what we did last week, was use the sponge itself to create shapes rather than using the sponge's texture to make shapes. And I still would like to revisit that, like do some different shaped sponge cutouts and use those to apply polish, maybe, possibly. All right. We are done with this manicure. I really like it. It's like mossy, but not quite. Like that blue just adds just that little glimmer and pop. It adds depth even though it's the one on the top. Wait, the Amethyst is giving us cooking recipes here. Is this like a taco soup? Meat and taco seasoning, yeah. And 2 soups. Wait, which 2 soups? Bonus burrito after the chips are gone. Oh, I see, because I mentioned the nachos. Yeah, taco meat, tortilla chips, and Campbell's cheddar cheese and Fiesta nacho cheese soup. Hey, hell yeah. So, just to like put my nachos out there one more time. My nachos are made with Doritos, some chili. Like if I have leftover homemade chili, that's the best. But like some Campbell's chili will do in a pinch. Often some rice. Like they sell at Aldi's these little pouches you could just stick in the microwave for like 90 seconds and you instantly got rice. Some corn. I love corn. I love the Bird's Eye frozen bicolor corn. It has white and gold corn in it. Just stick that in like some hot water for a couple minutes and it defrosts. And like multiple kinds of cheeses. And like for a while I was making these so big, it was like to get the proper mix, I was ending up with too much. So I was basically making like 2 huge servings of nachos and always having leftover nachos. And I was like, well, how can I make this like a little bit smaller? So what I do, and to avoid having like the worst baked on cheese possible in the world, get some parchment paper, fold it up like a little pie, and then cut it, and then you have like a round parchment to the size of your plate. And then I just start building like the nacho-y stuff directly on the plate without any chips. Like lay down all the cheese and rice and chili and corn and more cheese, and like cook that in the microwave a little bit. And then once it's like started to melt, then get the Doritos and like stick them all up in there like a whole bunch. And then that also keeps the chips from getting too, I'm like lecturing y'all on nachos, but that keeps the chips from getting too soggy. And then like microwave it another few minutes and make sure you get that crispy edge of cheese. Like add extra cheese around the edges to get some good cheesy edges. And I recommend a fork. So mossy metallic, yeah. That maybe that'd be a good name. I mean, this is not being called the dead frog manicure. Dr. Crotron's opinions aside. Metallic moss. I kind of like that. Or just green, dappled green and blue. That sounds so basic. Metallic moss sounds more interesting. I might steal that. This metallic moss marble. That's one of the reasons I generally don't record the intro and outro while I'm on stream. Also because for some reason those are like the hardest for me to like get through without blah, blah, blah type of thing happening. So I usually record them shortly after stream, like do a little bit of cleanup, start getting my stuff together. But I use the same setup, so I usually want to record it before I move my ring light back out of the way. But one of the things is I have to like figure out what the manicure is called. So we're either probably going to go with shades of dappled green. Actually, that doesn't sound as generic as dappled green and blue. Shades of dappled green with blue well, and sometimes the title will get so long and I'm like, okay, just cut that into pieces. Even though there's blue, that doesn't mean I have to include blue in the title. So probably either shades of dappled green or metallic moss. We'll see. Whatever I call it, I'm really enjoying them already. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying them also. And I'm glad that you guys hung out. Had you had Doritos and chili. In the toaster over on the broiler setting. Yeah, the rice and corn. Well, it's just like... I love rice and I love corn. And the corn... like all corn is not created equal, which you guys are probably not shocked to hear if you ever eat corn. The bird's eye, like I said, the bicolor corn is so like as sweet as corn can be, and it just adds like this pop of like when you're eating the nachos, like it's a treat for your senses and so many different like textures. You got the chips that are still crunchy because you only add them at the end halfway through. You got the chili, you got the cheese, which you've got melty cheese, and you've got the edge crispy cheese, and then you've got like these little pops of corn deliciousness. Man, I'm gonna have to go eat in very short order. Metallic moss. Oh, you did fix it? Yeah, you're using the Crow Gold, and and if you mouse over the emotes, FFZ emotes or regular Twitch emotes, you guys that are on PC, you can see a larger version of the emote, and it will also tell you what kind of emote it is. And I highly encourage mousing over the Crow Gold because the expression on this crow's face is so good. And I'm glad you fixed it, Sunburned. That's true. Moss, although my understanding, blue moss is like some moss you don't want to fuck with. That's the corn you get. Yeah, that's like my favorite corn. And I'm like mad if I can't find it. Like, where's the good corn? Okay, we have had a wonderful, wonderful stream. Let me see where I can send you wonderful, wonderful people today. I always like to have somewhere good to send you guys. Because like I've said before, that's how I found a lot, the majority probably, of the people that I follow. Low changed his name. Interesting. X is playing Hollow Knight. Jerry is playing Resident Evil 7. What do you think, you guys? Hollow Knight or Resident Evil? Jerry is starting slightly early. We're not quite to October, but Jerry is starting Stashoween, which is spooky games for Halloween. Hollow Knight I know is always good. And it's a blind playthrough. Nobody is speaking up. Eeny, meeny, miny, mony. That's not how that... Just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Either sounds good to you. Okay, I'm taking a drink of water and then I'm gonna decide. It's so hard to decide because, like, Amethyst is voting for Hollow Knight. Sunburnt will be lurking either way. Alright, I think Hollow Knight would probably be easier to lurk to since there won't be scary stuff happening in the background and you already know what's going on rather than a blind playthrough of a game you may or may not know about. So I'm going to send you guys over to X Creations. And since I do know him, I consider him a friend. I'm going to send you guys on a raid. Oh, he's on Steel Soul. So the very obvious raid message, you guys, is don't die. If you die in Steel Soul and Hollow Knight, your save file is erased. Like most of the times you die, you go back to a bench. Steel Soul, there's none of that. So, oh wait, no, okay. They've changed the raid thing. I thought it was about to go. I was like, wait a minute, it's short, but now I actually have to push this button. Oh, that will probably send you as soon as I push the button instead of the countdown thing. This is actually an improvement. At first I thought it was whatever the opposite of an improvement is, but now I think it is actually an improvement. So, anybody that wants to see me attempt some Hollow Knight, please join me tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock Central. Anybody that wants more nail art, I'll see you next Saturday or possibly before. I hope you have a wonderful evening or afternoon, whatever it is where you live. And I hope I'll see you next time.
Oh, like how have you not got